Chapter 1865. Buzz. The moment his body touched the white light, Qin Fen disappeared from the outskirts of Panshan Market. He immediately felt a powerful suction force sucking him into a pile of wontons, followed by a long teleportation process. Even with his Buddhist Light 7 transformations cultivation, he felt dizzy. Qin Fen realized that the teleportation formation was very far away. He didn't know where the 13 palaces were. He held on in the wontons for a while and finally heard a muffled sound. His feet found a sense of security. Is this the 13 palaces? It feels so big. Senior brother, let's go find the treasure. Disciples of Gourd Island, don't run around. The 13 palaces are dangerous. Follow me. As soon as Qin Fen came in, he heard a clamor. He looked ahead and saw a seemingly boundless plain. The plain was filled with mist, and visibility was less than 50 meters. When Qin Fen tried to use his divine sense to search deeper, he found that his divine sense couldn't penetrate further. After he entered the 13 palaces, many more cultivators were teleported in. They immediately formed groups and set off. The 13 palaces only opened for 3 months every 10 years. Time was of the essence. Qin Fen was ready to set off, but he had only taken 2 steps when 5 figures surrounded him. Ha ha! Brat, you really dared to come to the 13 palaces. Do you think you'll be fine after offending God's finger? Qin Fen looked at the man who spoke and immediately knew that it was the young elder of God's finger, Shin Shuhin. It was the first time he met the other 4, but they were obviously from God's finger. Before he came, Boyi had advised Qin Fen not to enter the 13 palaces. It seemed that sect leader Bo Yi's guess was right. God's finger didn't attack White Deer's sect on the surface but planned to attack inside the 13 palaces. Qin Fen quickly scanned the other 4 and couldn't help but feel nervous. The weakest of the 4 was at True Spirit Realm 1, 2 were at the peak of True Spirit Realm, and 1 was at Nihility God Realm. Even if there was still Thunder Disaster energy in the energy tank, Qin Fen couldn't deal with so many experts at once. Just as he was about to use the level 7 Earth Escape Talisman to escape, he heard the True Spirit Realm 1 cultivator say, Brat, you dare to spoil God's finger's plan? I'll kill you today. Qin Fen grabbed the level 7 Earth Escape Talisman in his hand, ready to run at any time. He looked at Shin Wuxing and said, You're no match for me. Shin Wuxing was enraged. You're just a Buddha Light late-stage cultivator, and you dare to act wildly against me? I think you're tired of living. If it weren't for the fact that you have a few senior brothers protecting you, I would have killed you with a single slash. Qin Feng said indifferently. Shin Wuxing was so angry that he gritted his teeth and shouted at the crowd. You guys don't do anything. Let me kill this arrogant brat myself. Young master, I feel that there's something strange about that guy. Why don't I just kill him with a slap? Seeing that only godly Master Void God had spoken, Qin Fen immediately tightened his grip on the level 7 escape talisman. Shin Wuxing glared at Shin Mo and said, I said I'll do it myself. If any of you dare to attack, I won't forgive you. Although Shin Wuxing had the lowest realm in the crowd, he was the only son of the God One Finger sect leader. His position in the God One Finger sect was only below the sect leader. Shin Mo and the other 3 retreated to the side. In fact, they weren't too worried. To them, Qin Fen was just a Buddha Light late-stage cultivator. Even if he had a trump card, he definitely wouldn't be able to kill Shin Wuxing instantly. Even if something strange happened, Shin Mo was confident that he could stop it in time. Seeing the 4 of them retreat 100 meters away, Qin Fen's eyes flashed with coldness. Shin Wuxing had a playful smile on his face. He didn't even hold a weapon in his hand. He casually walked over to Qin Fen and said, Brat, if you have any last words, say them now. Otherwise, you won't have a chance. Qin Fen coldly laughed and said, That's what I wanted to say to you. If you have any last words, say them now. But I won't help you pass on the God finger. What an arrogant brat. Today, I'm going to tear you into pieces. God of the 5 elements ran out of patience and suddenly threw a punch. Suddenly, a wave of fist energy surged and arrived in front of Qin Fen. However, Qin Fen did not back down. Nobody knew when, but a long sword had appeared in his hand, and he had completed the slashing motion. Boom! When the sword fell, he would die. With Qin Fen's current strength, even if he faced a middle-stage true spirit cultivator, he could kill him with one strike. Not to mention Shen Wuxing, who had just entered True Spirit Realm 1. Buzz! Just as Shen Wuxing exploded into pieces, a strange energy wave spread from Qin Fen's body. He instantly turned into a beam of white light and disappeared from the ground. Wuxing, oh no, young master has been killed. Damn that guy, he dared to hide his strength and kill young master. Quick, capture him. The crowd suddenly exploded. Shen Mou was the first to chase in the direction that Qin Fen had disappeared. But halfway there, he retreated. His old face was twisted and cold. How dare he? That bastard tricked us all. He had planned to escape long ago, but young master insisted on fighting him one-on-one. So he killed young master and used the level 7 Earth Escape Talisman to leave. He's now 10,000 miles away. Shen Mou angrily roared. When they found out the truth, Shen Su Hen and the other 3 little elders were dumbfounded. They had 3 peak True Spirit Realm cultivators and a Void God Realm hierarch on their side. The other side was just a Buddha's Light cultivator. Not only was he not scared, he even schemed in secret. This kind of shrewdness and courage was too terrifying. Great Elder Mou, young master has been killed and the murderer has escaped. What do we do? Shen Su Hen and the other 2 became nervous. They didn't even have the mood to explore the 13 palaces anymore. Now that the sect leader's only son was dead, if the sect leader found out, who knew how angry he would be? What else can we do? Quickly find that brat Xiao Feng and bring him back to the sect leader to deal with. Shen Mou angrily roared and flew in the direction that Qin Fen disappeared. We didn't do anything else in the 13 palaces this time, just find that brat. Qin Fen felt a sharp pain in his head. When he opened his eyes again, he was already thousands of miles away. The scenery around him had completely changed. When he had just teleported to the 13th palace, there was a misty plain in front of him. But now, he was surrounded by a boundless desert. The mist had disappeared, but at a glance, he couldn't even see a person or grass. The spirit chi around him was also very thin. This made Qin Fen wonder if he had been teleported out of the 13 palaces by the Earth Escape Talisman. He had heard that the spirit chi in the 13 palaces was rich and abundant with spirit herbs, but this place didn't seem like it at all. After walking for a while, Qin Fen still didn't see a single cultivator. He started to wonder if he had been teleported out of the 13 palaces by the level 7 Earth Escape Talisman. There were at least 80,000 to 90,000 cultivators when they entered. No matter how big the 13 palaces were, it was impossible to not see a single person. Yuanqiu, this is the outer area of the 13 palaces. No cultivators will come here. You better hand over the 100 Immortals flower, and I can spare your life. While Qin Fen was feeling depressed, a voice came from afar. While the voice was still lingering in the air, a man and a woman flew over and landed in the desert not far away from Qin Fen. Huh! There are people in this area? The man saw Qin Fen, and his eyes revealed a look of disbelief. The woman also looked over, but after seeing through Qin Fen's realm, she frowned again. Stinking brat, this has nothing to do with you. Get lost! The man shouted at Qin Fen. The female cultivator wore a white veil, but it couldn't hide her beautiful face. She must have fought a fierce battle with the male cultivator. The woman's purple robe was in tatters, and some of her fair skin was exposed to the air. There were even some bloodstains on it. Fellow cultivator, you should leave, the woman said, but her tone was completely different from the male cultivators. Qin Fen could tell what the woman was thinking. She saw that his realm was too low, so she didn't want him to get involved. In fact, Qin Fen didn't want to get involved in their business, but the male cultivator's attitude made him very unhappy. Moreover, Qin Fen admired the female cultivator's actions. So, he just stood there and didn't move, confusing the other party. Are you, an ant at the Buddha's light stage, tired of living? Did you hear me telling you to scram? The male cultivator was instantly enraged. A wild aura erupted from his body, showing off his peak true spirit realm cultivation. Actually, he didn't need to show it. Qin Fen had already seen through his strength. Qin Fen could also see that the female cultivator was in the 7th true spirit realm, and wasn't a match for the male cultivator at all. It was also because the tribulation lightning energy in the energy tank had been used up, otherwise Qin Fen would have shot the male cultivator to see if he still dared to act this arrogant. But reality was very cruel. Qin Fen could only rely on his own cultivation to fight. Even if he had several heaven-defying treasures, it wasn't easy to kill a peak true spirit realm cultivator. This is your family's territory? Qin Fen suddenly said. The male cultivator was stunned and subconsciously said, Are you sick? This is the outer area of the 13 palaces, how could it be my family's? I think the one who's sick is you. Since this isn't your family's, why can't I stand here? What right do you have to chase me away? Qin Fen's words stunned the two of them, and they looked at him with a strange expression. This was the divine continent, a place where the strong were respected. The words of cultivators with high realms represented everything. The male cultivator's realm was clearly higher than Qin Fen's, so him telling Qin Fen to leave was the truth. Who would have thought that Qin Fen wouldn't leave and would even talk about principles here? If the South Flat State cultivators heard this, they would definitely laugh their heads off. Ha ha! Idiot! I really met an idiot! The man couldn't stop laughing, but halfway through, his expression suddenly turned cold. You're asking me why I'm chasing you away? That's what I'm relying on. Boom! With that, the male cultivator leapt into the air and casually slapped out. He was too lazy to even take out his weapon, thinking that with his strength, he could kill Qin Fen with one palm. There was a loud sound and the ground where Qin Fen was standing before sank into a hole, but there was no sign of Qin Fen in the hole. Chapter 1866. Brat, you actually hid your strength. But with that little cultivation of yours, you will die sooner or later. The male cultivator roared angrily and suddenly attacked behind him. A golden ray flew under the huge palm print and flew hundreds of meters away in the blink of an eye. Sister, let's kill him together! Qin Fen's voice floated over from the sky. The male cultivator was furious. A Buddha light realm ant wanted to kill him? Yuanqiu was shocked by Qin Fen's boldness. She thought Qin Fen would run away in fear after seeing Ji Shi's cultivation. Unexpectedly, not only did he not run, but he also wanted to kill Ji Shi. At the same time, Qin Fen's way of addressing Yuanqiu was strange. On the divine continent, people usually called each other fellow cultivator or senior. It was the first time Yuanqiu called her sister. But she quickly came back to her senses and immediately swung her sword at Ji Shi. At the same time, she shouted, Young hero, the opponent is the 5-star sect Yuansung sect's little elder Ji Shi. His cultivation is at the peak of the spirit connecting realm. You should leave quickly. I have a way to escape. Yuanqiu clearly did not think Qin Fen would win. She even felt that Qin Fen was a burden. But it was impossible for Qin Fen to leave now. He had successfully angered Ji Shi, so how could Ji Shi spare him? Humph! You adulterous couple, don't even think about leaving today. Ji Shi swung his palm again and easily blocked Yuanqiu's sword ray. At the same time, he flew towards Qin Fen. In his opinion, Qin Fen was easier to deal with. The South Flat Continent's peak true spirit realm cultivator was more powerful than Qin Fen imagined. In just a few breaths' time, Ji Shi was already behind him. This time, he took out a long saber and slashed down from the sky. The sky seemed like it was going to be split by him. There was a loud explosion. Ripples appeared in Yuanqiu's eyes. She frowned and looked into the distance. She believed that Qin Fen had no chance of survival under Ji Shi's ferocious saber. Thinking about an unfamiliar cultivator dying to help her, Yuanqiu felt somewhat upset. Sister, don't just stand there. Although I have a way to kill him alone, it will be very troublesome. A familiar voice rang out. Yu Wanqiu's expression changed drastically. She could vaguely see a golden light leaping through the sky. Its speed was not any slower than her flying sword. Realizing that Qin Feng was not dead, Yu Wanqiu immediately swung her sword and rushed over. With a flick of her wrist, countless sword flowers shot out like a rain of swords rushing into the sky. "You little ant, I'm going to tear you to pieces today!" After a few waves of attacks, they couldn't even touch Qin Feng's skin. Ji Shi's furious roar shook the heavens. He felt that he had lost all face. Ji Shi didn't care about the sword light coming from behind him. He suddenly sped up and slapped Qin Feng's back. The violent explosion sent Qin Feng flying. Before he landed, he spat out blood. After sending Qin Feng flying, Ji Shi did not chase after him. He immediately slapped behind him and stopped the sword energies in the air. However, he had only attacked for a short time, so he could not release his true power. Dozens of sword energies pierced through the palm print and hit his body, causing him significant damage. "Young hero, little brother, are you okay?" Yu Wanqiu called him, "little brother," in a moment of desperation. She froze as soon as she said it, but she didn't hear Qin Feng's response. Yu Wanqiu immediately became anxious and flew over to him. "Yu Wanqiu, you bitch! You usually pretend to be pure, but you're in heat after seeing a pretty boy. I'm going to strip you naked and do you in front of that pretty boy." Ji Shi suddenly became angry. It turned out that he had pursued Yu Wanqiu before, but she had decisively rejected him. This matter had even spread among the major five-star sects, making Ji Shi lose all face. This time, Ji Shi had come looking for trouble with Yu Wanqiu with a vengeful heart. He had purposely forced Yu Wanqiu to an uninhabited area outside the 13th palace. He wanted to steal her 100 immortal flowers and then execute her on the spot, but he hadn't expected Qin Feng to appear midway. In just a few breaths, Ji Shi had already caught up to Yu Wanqiu. He swung the long saber in his hand, and a fierce saber aura rose up like a long dragon. Yu Wanqiu was very worried about Qin Feng's injuries. In a moment of absent-mindedness, she was hit by the remaining power of the saber aura. Her tattered purple robes were cut into 2 pieces and hung on her body like rags. Even some important parts of her body were almost unable to be covered. "Ha ha! Woman, your figure is really good. Quick, let me have a taste." Ji Shi's eyes lit up as he stared at Yu Wanqiu's towering breasts. Yu Wanqiu couldn't care less. She realized that she was going to die here with that young hero today, but she planned to self-destruct before she died. Even if she died, she couldn't let that beast Ji Shi taint her innocence. Yu Wanqiu couldn't care less about the wound on her back. She jumped into the huge pit where Qin Feng had landed. As soon as she entered, she was stunned. Qin Feng was sitting cross-legged at the bottom of the pit, recuperating. His complexion looked even more rosy than hers. "You!" Qin Feng immediately mouthed. "Sister, don't say anything. Once we trick that bastard over, I have a way to deal with him." Yu Wanqiu was shocked. She never thought that the Buddha's light realm youth in front of her would still think of tricks in a life-and-death situation. Ordinary Buddha's light realm cultivators would tremble in fear when they encountered a true spirit realm expert. How could they maintain a rational mind? However, Yu Wanqiu quickly noticed that something was wrong. The other party's gaze was strange, like a hungry wolf's. When she looked down at her chest, she was so scared that she almost cried out. Her clothes had been cut into 2 pieces, and they couldn't cover the peaks in front of her chest at all. Qin Feng suddenly came back to his senses because he felt a powerful aura rapidly approaching. He didn't have much time to think. He grabbed Yu Wanqiu and rushed into the sky on his flying sword. Rumble! As soon as the 2 of them left, a chaotic sound came from the huge pit. Qin Feng immediately threw out 4 banners. The banners were originally only the size of a palm, but they instantly grew in size in the air, forming 4 walls that connected to the sky. "What the hell is this?" Ji Shi's roar came from the Ghost Face Soul banner. Qin Feng immediately heaved a sigh of relief. He knew that the other party had been trapped. The Ghost Face Soul banner was one of the Ghost Cultivator's 8 sacred items. It could even trap a Void Spirit Realm cultivator for a long time. Young hero brother, what treasure is that? Yuanchio's eyes lit up when she saw the soul banner. Although she didn't recognize what the soul banner was, she could tell that it was a rare treasure. Qinfen didn't hide it, and quickly said, Sister, that is one of the Ghost Cultivator's 8 sacred items, the Ghost Face Soul Banner. It can form a formation and trap a Void Spirit Realm Cultivator. Let's attack together and kill that bastard. When Qinfen finished speaking, he swung his saber at the soul banner. The surging golden saber gleam fell to the ground, and the violent movement was like an earthquake. Yuanchio looked at Qinfen in surprise. She didn't expect a Buddha's light realm cultivator to have such terrifying destructive power. It was not much weaker than hers. Swish! Yuanchio didn't think too much about it, and quickly returned to her senses. Instantly, the saber gleam and sword shadows surged. Yuanchio was trapped in the formation and had nowhere to hide. She even had to endure the soul banner's divine sense attack. If there was still tribulation thunder energy, Qinfen believed that he could kill Jishur with one spear strike. Now, he could kill Jishur with his cultivation alone, but it took Qinfen and Yuanchio an hour. After confirming that Jishur's spirit pearl had been destroyed, the two of them fell to the ground. This battle had consumed a large amount of their primordial essence, and their bodies were extremely weak. After resting for a while, Qinfeng's gaze inadvertently fell on Yuanchio's chest. After the battle, Yuanchio's purple robe had completely fallen off. At this moment, she was completely naked as she sat to the side. She was still panting heavily, and her chest, which was already astonishing, rose and fell with beads of sweat on it. Qin Feng immediately reacted when he saw this. Young hero brother, thank you for saving my life this time. What are you looking at? Yuanchio finally realized her embarrassing state. She immediately took out a new set of clothes from her storage ring and put them on in a panic. The beautiful scenery disappeared, and Qin Feng quickly returned to his senses. He recalled what had just happened and felt embarrassed. Big sister, my name is Zhao Feng. Qinfen took the initiative to break the silence. The blush on Yuanchio's pretty face had yet to fade. She wasn't angry at Qinfen, but she had neglected the matter of her clothes falling off. Moreover, she knew that with her appearance and figure, no man could resist the temptation. Qinfen was considered lucky. He had only taken a few peeks. Yuanchio would have thought it was normal even if he had directly pounced on her. Little brother Xiaofeng, my name is Yuanchio, and I am a disciple of the 5-star Sky Lake sect. After I entered the 13th palace, I found 100 Immortals flower, but I didn't expect to run into Jishur when I was picking it. That beast wanted to snatch the 100 Immortals flower, but I wasn't willing to hand it over, so the scene just now happened, Yuanchio said. Qinfen muttered her name, and felt that it was very poetic. The next moment, his expression changed drastically as he realized the important information in Yuanchio's words. 100 Immortals flower? Is it the level 7 spirit herb, the 100 Immortals flower? I didn't expect little brother Xiaofeng to have heard of the 100 Immortals flower. I have a feeling that you are not an ordinary Buddha light realm cultivator. Yuanchio looked at Qinfen in confusion. How could a Buddha light realm cultivator know about the level 7 spirit herb, the 100 Immortals flower? I won't hide it from big sister Yuanchio. I am actually an alchemist, so I have some research on spirit herbs. The 100 Immortals flower is a level 7 spirit herb, and it is mainly used to refine the spirit cleansing pill. The spirit cleansing pill can remove poison, especially pill toxins. Qinfen had read about the 100 Immortals flower and the spirit cleansing pill from the Encyclopedia of Medicinal Pills. Before this, he had never seen the real 100 Immortals flower, nor had he refined the spirit cleansing pill. Qinfen knew of 2 types of pills that could remove pill toxins. One was the rejuvenating pill that Long Qianjun had given him. However, the rejuvenating pill was only a type of gold pill. Even if it could remove pill toxins, it could only remove a small portion of the pill toxins. He also had a level 7 spirit herb, the fire spirit lotus. This type of spirit herb could be refined into a spirit lotus pill. The Spirit Lotus pill also had the effect of removing pill toxins, and its effects were better than the rejuvenating pill. However, Qin Fen didn't plan on using the Fire Spirit Lotus to refine the Spirit Lotus pill. This was because the level 7 spirit herb had an even more unique effect, and that was to nurture a heavenly flame. However, Qin Fen was a maniac when it came to eating pills. He believed that the pill toxins in his body were several times more than those of cultivators at the same level as him. The medicinal effects of the rejuvenating pill alone wouldn't be enough to remove the pill toxins in his body. If he refined the 100 Immortals flower into the spirit cleansing pill and ate it, it would be pretty good. Chapter 1867. Yu Wanqiu looked at Qin Feng in disbelief. She didn't expect Qin Feng to not only know about the 100 Immortals flower, but he also knew the uses of a level 7 spirit herb. Then, Qin Feng said something that surprised her even more. "Oh right, Sister Wanqiu, I happen to have other ingredients for the purifying pill. I'm just missing 100 Immortals flower. If you trust me, give me the 100 Immortals flower, and I'll refine a furnace of pills for you. How about that?" It was Qin Feng's first time meeting Yu Wanqiu, so he wouldn't be so kind as to help her refine pills for free. He just wanted to try refining a furnace of purifying pills. This was his first time refining purifying pills, and if he wanted to become a higher-level alchemist, he had to constantly refine new pills to comprehend and break through. Yu Wanqiu suddenly hesitated, and her guard was raised. Although she didn't think Qin Feng was a bad person, it was their first time meeting, and it was hard to tell what was in a person's heart. However, Yu Wanqiu quickly laughed at herself. If it weren't for Qin Feng's appearance, she would have been dead by now or would have suffered the cruel treatment of Ji Shi. As for the level 700 Immortals flower, it definitely wouldn't have fallen into her hands. "Brother Qiao Feng, I'll give you the 100 Immortals flower to repay you for saving my life." Yu Wanqiu smiled. Her smile was even more beautiful than the 100 Immortals flower. It was Qin Feng's first time seeing a 100 Immortals flower. It looked similar to a lily, and when he took it out, a dense spiritual energy floated around him. Qin Feng immediately took out the cauldron of heaven and earth, as well as a dozen different spirit herbs. "Ah? Brother Qiao Feng, are you really going to refine pills?" Yu Wanqiu was stunned when she saw the cauldron. "Of course I'm going to refine pills. I just promised Sister Wanqiu." Qin Feng looked at her in surprise. Yu Wanqiu blushed. She had always thought that Qin Feng only fancied the 100 Immortals flower, and even wanted to use some trick to trick it away. His offer to refine purifying pills was just an excuse. It wasn't until now that Yu Wanqiu realized that she was being too petty. He really wanted to help her refine the pill, but Yu Wanqiu couldn't accept it. This was because the spirit cleansing pill was a rank 1, rank 7 king pill. She didn't believe that Qin Feng was an elixir king at such a young age. "Brother Qiao Feng, the spirit cleansing pill is a 7th grade king pill," Yu Wanqiu reminded him. She saw that Qin Feng had already raised a flame under the cauldron. As he threw spirit herbs into the cauldron, he said casually, "I know, Sister Wanqiu. I can still refine rank 1 level 7 king pills." Seeing that Qin Fen was determined to refine pills, Yu Wanqiu did not continue to persuade him. However, she still had no confidence in Qin Fen. Qin Fen was simply too young, and the South Flat Continent did not seem to have any elixir kings under the age of 30. "Forget it. I was planning to give the 100 Immortals flower to him anyway. It's the will of the heavens if it's ruined." Yu Wanqiu sighed and sat to the side to recuperate. She planned to continue on her journey after her injuries were healed. After an unknown amount of time, Yu Wanqiu heard a muffled sound, startling her awake from her cultivation. An incomparably rich pill fragrance wafted into his nostrils, and the spiritual energy around him seemed to have increased by several levels, to the point where it felt like it was about to condense into a substance. "Brother Qiao Feng, what's going on?" Yu Wanqiu was shocked. However, without Qin Fen's explanation, she had already seen the 12 pills flying out of the cauldron of heaven and earth. She immediately understood the situation. "Why, you refined the spirit cleansing pills? How is this possible?" Yuanqiu was even more shocked after learning about the situation. Qin Fen placed the 12 pills into a jade bottle and handed it to Yuanqiu. Sister Yuanqiu, I said I would help you refine the spirit cleansing pills, so I definitely won't go back on my word. Yuanqiu took the jade bottle in a daze. She could still feel the lingering warmth of the pills inside. She poured out a pill and looked at it, confirming that it was really a bottle of spirit cleansing pills. I really didn't expect Brother Qiao Feng to be an elixir king. You might be the youngest elixir king in the South Flat Continent. I can't accept this bottle of spirit cleansing pills. You should keep it for yourself. Yuanqiu returned the pills. She had originally planned to give the 100 Immortals flower to Qin Fen. The other ingredients for the spirit cleansing pills were all prepared by Qin Fen, and the pills were also refined by him. How could she accept this bottle of spirit cleansing pills? Qin Fen smiled and took out another jade bottle. He placed the 6 spirit cleansing pills into a new jade bottle and handed it to Yuanqiu. Sister Yuanqiu, you provided the main ingredient for the spirit cleansing pills, the 100 Immortals flower. I'll be in charge of refining the pills, and we'll each take half a bottle of spirit cleansing pills. That should be fine, right? Yuanqiu's heart wavered. The effects of the spirit cleansing pills were too rare. There weren't many pills in the entire South Flat Continent that could remove pill toxins from a cultivator's body, and the few pills that existed were extremely expensive. She gritted her teeth and took the jade bottle. She looked at Qin Fen with her beautiful eyes and said, Brother Qiao Feng, I won't stand on ceremony then. I think you came to the 13 palaces to explore alone. Why don't you come with me to find the senior brothers and sisters of the Sky Lake sect and join our team? Qin Fen knew very little about the 13 palaces. He didn't even know how to find the array formation for the higher-level palaces. Yuanqiu took the initiative to invite him, so he felt that it couldn't be any better. However, before he could agree, a strong feeling appeared in his mind. Little pig, did the spirit-seeking bug find another treasure? This was the second time this feeling appeared. The last time it appeared was when the spirit-seeking bug found the tortoise tablet in the starry weapon workshop. That's right, Master. According to the strength of the feeling, the treasure is within a 50-kilometer radius, Little Pig said. Qin Fen immediately became spirited. At the same time, he changed his plan. He planned to reject Yuanqiu's invitation and search for the treasure alone. Brother Qiao Feng, what's wrong? Yuanqiu frowned when he didn't reply for a long time. Even her frowning expression was extremely alluring. Qin Fen hurriedly said, Sister Yuanqiu, I plan to go deeper. Why don't you go and find a fellow cultivator from the sect first? Yuanqiu looked at him in disbelief and said, Huh! You still want to go deeper? Why are you going there? Qin Fen realized something from her expression and asked, Sister Yuanqiu, this is my first time entering the 13 palaces, so I don't know much about the situation inside. What kind of place is the depths of the desert? Can I go there? Yuanqiu suddenly understood. It turned out that Qin Fen didn't know much about the 13 palaces. No wonder he wanted to go deeper. She immediately explained. The 0th floor of the 13 palaces is very vast, but there are almost no high-grade treasures or materials on the 0th floor. Especially the closer you go to the edge of the 0th floor, the worse the environment becomes. It's hard to even find a spirit herb, let alone a treasure. What does 0th floor mean? Qin Fen didn't understand. When everyone was transported to the 13 palaces, they were on the 0th floor. Only by finding the entrance to the first palace and entering it can you be considered to have truly entered the 13 palaces. Qin Fen suddenly understood. After all this time, he still hadn't truly entered the 13 palaces. However, he quickly thought of something. That's not right, Sister Yuanqiu. Since there are no good things on the 0th floor, why would there be a level 7 spirit herb like the 100 Immortals flower? This question stumped Yuanqiu. In fact, when she found the 100 Immortals flower on the 0th floor, she was also shocked for a while. She even suspected that a high-grade cultivator had left it on the side of the road, or that a high-grade cultivator had died in a fight between sects, and their treasures had been left on the 0th floor. However, either of these explanations made sense. Level 7 spirit herbs were very precious, and a high-grade cultivator would leave it on the side of the road. Even if a high-grade cultivator was killed, their storage ring would be taken away. How could they ignore the existence of 100 Immortals' flower? In short, according to the experiences of many powerful seniors, the 0th floor of the 13 palaces is just a platform. There are almost no treasures here. I advise my brother not to waste his time here, Yuanqiu said. If the spirit-seeking bug hadn't sensed it, Qin Fen would have definitely left with Yuanqiu. However, the spirit-seeking bug had found the mysterious turtle tablet last time, and he had learned from Hao Yue that the turtle tablet was the key to opening the door of life. Now that it sensed it again, he couldn't miss this opportunity. Big Sister Yuanqiu, I still want to go inside and take a look. Don't worry about me, we will meet again. Qin Fen didn't wait for Yuanqiu to persuade him again and left on his flying sword. He was afraid that Yuanqiu would follow him. It wasn't that he was afraid that Yuanqiu would snatch the treasure after he found it. Qin Fen was worried that this spirit-seeking bug would make a mistake and delay Yuanqiu's time to enter the 13 palaces. The 13 palaces only opened once every 10 years, and each time it opened for 3 months. These 3 months were extremely important to every cultivator, and they couldn't afford to waste even a second. As Qin Fen flew, the scenery around him didn't change. However, a large mountain vaguely appeared in the distance. Qin Fen tried to get closer to the mountain, but he discovered that the mountain didn't look far, but he couldn't reach it even after flying for a long time. Master, the treasure sensed by the spirit-seeking bug is that mountain, Little Pig suddenly said. Qin Fen spared no effort to fly towards the mountain. He simply put away his flying sword and drove the soaring cloud all. His speed instantly doubled. The mountain was surrounded by mist, and it looked like a celestial mountain. However, after Qin Fen drove the soaring cloud all for a day and a night, he suddenly discovered a problem. Huh! How far is this mountain? Didn't the spirit-seeking bug say that its sensing range is within 100 miles? The soaring cloud all must have flown at least 10,000 miles in a day and a night, Qin Fen asked. Little Pig frowned and suddenly shouted. I know, Master. You've been confused by the array. In fact, you've been going in circles. Qin Fen was shocked. He was now a level 4 array grandmaster, but after flying for a day and a night, he still didn't find any array. Moreover, this area was a boundless desert, unlike the misty plain where they first entered. Qin Fen couldn't imagine how a psychedelic array could be set up in such a place. But soon, Qin Fen found some clues. He smelled a faint but very familiar aura in the air. It was undoubtedly the energy of an array. It seemed that there really was an array in this vast and boundless desert. Even though he knew there was an array, Qin Fen couldn't tell what kind of array it was. He couldn't even figure out where the core of the array was. How big was this array? How did it support its operation? Countless questions surged in his mind. Qin Fen couldn't help but sigh at the brilliance of the Almighty who set up this array. Compared to him, Qin Fen's current level of array skills was not even worth mentioning. Chapter 1868. After flying for another half a day, he still couldn't reach the seemingly nearby mountain peak. Qin Fen was sure that he was trapped in a psychedelic array, but he couldn't find a way to break it. Master, why don't you look in the formation compendium? Little Pig suggested. In his anxiety, Qin Fen had forgotten about the Encyclopedia of Array Formations. When he had first purchased this manual, he had roughly scanned through it. This manual recorded in detail the layout and deciphering of many array formations. It even recorded level 7 king arrays, level 8 immortal arrays, and even pinnacle level 9 arrays. After flipping through the formation compendium, Qin Fen checked the high-grade arrays recorded in the last few pages. He knew that the psychedelic array in front of him was at least a level 5 spiritual array. Otherwise, he would have been able to find the array I. There were too many high-grade arrays recorded in the secret manual. Qin Fen didn't dare to miss any of them. He flipped through them one by one. After another half a day, his eyes lit up. he finally found a similar array. Space disorientating array, a type of level 8 immortal array. The array I is set in the air. The array is maintained by absorbing spiritual energy from the spirit gathering array. The array I changes according to the density of spiritual energy. After studying the space disorientating array carefully, Qin Fen vaguely felt that the psychedelic array in front of him was the space disorientating array. No wonder he couldn't find the array I. The array I was set in the air, and could change at any time. Qin Fen had actually seen arrays with changing array Is before. The teleportation array that appeared in the martial world outside of China changed at any time. There was also the White Spirit Mountain array that Qin Fen found in the North Sand continent changed at any time. These arrays were all high-grade arrays. They were at least level 8 immortal arrays. Qin Fen even suspected that the teleportation array that led to the Divine Continent was at least a peak level 9 array. He couldn't imagine who set up these arrays. If the person who set up these arrays was still alive, he could probably kill a true form, or even a true God realm expert with just this array formation technique alone. Qin Fen put aside these messy thoughts. Now was clearly not the time to think about these problems. He immediately checked the method to break the space disorientating array. The secret manual recorded more than 10 methods to break the array. However, with his current cultivation and array skills, he could only try the third method. The reason why the disorienting space array existed was mainly because it absorbed the spirit chi from the spirit gathering array. As long as the spirit gathering array was destroyed, the disorienting space array would naturally be destroyed. However, Qin Fen was stumped once again. He didn't discover the existence of a spirit gathering formation nearby. Or it could be said that this hidden spirit gathering formation was of an extremely high level. With Qin Feng's current formation skills, it would be difficult to find it. For a moment, Qin Fen had a strong urge to improve his formation skills. However, he knew that improving the level of formation skills was even more difficult than cultivating. He had to constantly set up and break formations, and he also had to have a strong perception. Otherwise, he might be stuck at the level of a rank 4 formation master forever. At times like this, he needed to think calmly. Qin Fen simply sat cross-legged and tried his best to calm his emotions. His mind was full of thoughts as he tried to think of a way to break the disorienting space formation. Since he couldn't use the dozen or so methods recorded in the compendium of formations, he would have to find a new method. After thinking for a long time, Qin Fen suddenly opened his eyes. "Such a simple method, why did you only think of it now?" His face revealed a joyful expression. He suddenly clapped his hands and carved a seal on the spirit stones. This was the appearance of setting up a formation. Soon, a rank 4 spirit gathering formation was completed. However, his hands didn't stop at all and started to set up a second spirit gathering formation. The method that Qin Fen thought of to break the formation was very simple. It was to use the spirit gathering formation that he set up to absorb the spirit energy. This way, the disorienting space formation wouldn't have enough spirit energy to circulate, and it would eventually break by itself. However, Qin Fen knew that the hidden spirit gathering formation in the disorienting space formation was of a very high level. Therefore, he had to use quantity to suppress the high-grade spirit gathering formation. That was why he was continuously setting up rank 4 spirit gathering formations. After a day, Qin Fen had set up more than 50 spirit gathering formations. After these formations were set up, Qin Feng's ability to set up rank 4 spirit gathering formations had reached the point of perfection. Whether it was the speed of setting up the formation or the effect of the formation, they were all greatly improved compared to before. Through the process of continuously setting up the formation, he had some new understanding of the formation in his mind. He didn't realize that in the process of setting up the formation, the Heart Sutra of the Creation chapter was circulating on its own and emitting surging vital energy from his body. So a rank 4 spirit gathering formation can be set up like this. But this formation doesn't seem like a rank 4 great formation? Countless thoughts suddenly appeared in Qin Feng's mind, and they were all about formations. He was immersed in these new concepts of setting up formations, and he even forgot that he was still breaking the disorienting space formation. He began to break the conventional method of setting up formations, and he used a new method to create a spirit-gathering formation. At first, his technique was a bit rusty, and he even failed halfway through the process. However, after summarizing and practicing, he set up a brand new spirit-gathering formation. No! This isn't a rank 4 spirit-gathering formation! When the brand new formation was placed in front of him, Qin Feng's expression changed greatly. At this time, Little Pig's pleasantly surprised voice sounded. Congratulations, Master! You've become a rank 5 spirit formation master! This is a rank 5 spirit gathering formation. Realization dawned on Qin Feng. When he looked at the newly set up formation in front of him again, he was sure that it was indeed a rank 5 spirit gathering formation. There was a huge difference between a rank 4 spirit gathering formation and a rank 5 spirit gathering formation. At the rank 5 spirit gathering formation, the formation core would automatically produce spirit chi. Although this spirit chi wasn't enough to maintain the formation's operation, it could protect the formation for a long time. This was also the reason why rank 7 king formations and rank 8 immortal formations could last for hundreds of years. The formation cores of those great formations also contained spirit chi, and they were even more powerful than rank 5 spirit gathering formations. After confirming that he had really set up a rank 5 spirit gathering formation, Qin Feng was overjoyed. 2 days ago, he was still hoping to have a breakthrough in his knowledge of formations, but he didn't expect this breakthrough to come so suddenly. Qin Feng quickly calmed himself down. He realized that even if he had set up a rank 5 spirit gathering formation, it would be difficult to suppress the spirit gathering formation within the disorienting space formation. This was because after becoming a rank 5 spirit formation master, Qin Feng still couldn't find the hidden formation core of the spirit gathering formation. It seemed that the formation had surpassed the level of a rank 5 spirit gathering formation. If the level wasn't enough, the quantity would make up for it. Qin Feng began to continuously set up a rank 5 spirit gathering formation. At the same time, as he set up the rank 5 spirit gathering formation, he gained many new insights into formations. Just as he was immersed in understanding formations, Little Pig's surprised cry woke him up. Master! The disorienting space formation is broken! Qin Feng immediately looked in front of him. The scene in front of him had changed greatly. His surroundings were no longer the Gobi Desert. The environment was even worse than the Gobi Desert. He was now in an environment that was half Gobi and half desert. There was a mountain peak several dozen miles away. It was the same mountain peak that Qin Feng had seen before. However, the mountain peak was much clearer than before. He could feel that it was really right in front of him. It wasn't as hazy as before. Qin Feng immediately stored the spirit gathering formation into his star ring and flew towards the mountain peak on his flying sword. In just over half an hour, he was already standing at the foot of the mountain peak. It seemed that the disorienting space formation was really broken. Rumble! The sound of thunder filled the sky. When Qin Feng arrived at the foot of the mountain, he was immediately stunned by the scene in front of him. This was an incomparably pitch-black mountain. The sky above the mountain peak was covered with dark clouds and a sea of lightning crisscrossed. It was like a scene from the end of the world. Looking at the surrounding environment, it had completely turned into a desert. The area closer to the foot of the mountain, it was even worse than a desert. It was a field of dust and dirt. It reminded Qin Feng of the primordial battlefield after he went to the secret realm of White Spirit Mountain. He fell from the volcano where he found the purple ghost flame and fell all the way to the primordial battlefield. Qin Feng even suspected that this place was also a primordial battlefield. However, he quickly dispelled this thought. Back when he was in the secret realm of White Spirit Mountain, there were many weathered corpses and treasures. However, there was nothing in the dust at the foot of the mountain. Qin Feng suddenly felt a little disappointed. He began to suspect that the spirit-seeking bug senses were wrong this time. How could there be treasures in this place that was even more desolate than a desert? He raised his head and looked at the sea of lightning above the mountain. Although he was looking at it from a few hundred meters away, he was still suffocated by the residual power of the thunder. He even suspected that this sea of lightning was even more ferocious than the lightning tribulation he triggered when he broke through the Buddha aura. Going up there would only result in death. However, at this moment, the signal from the spirit-seeking bug became stronger. The little bug was squeaking excitedly. Qin Feng didn't need to say anything. Little Pig translated. "Master! The spirit-seeking bug said that there is treasure on the mountain." Qin Feng immediately rolled his eyes. He was afraid that the bug would say something like this at this time. "Little Pig, in the past, are there any records of the spirit-seeking bug killing its master?" "There are no such records. However, there are records that say that the spirit-seeking bug is the #1 treasure-seeking bug on the divine continent. Its treasure-finding rate is as high as 99%. It almost never makes a mistake," Little Pig said seriously. Although he was depressed, Qin Feng knew that he had to go up to the Black Lightning Mountain. Moreover, he had many doubts about the Black Lightning Mountain. Where did this sea of lightning come from? Moreover, there was only thunder and lightning above the Black Mountain. Once it left the Black Mountain, it would be normal weather. This was enough to prove that this Black Mountain was not ordinary. Qin Feng decided to go up the mountain, but he would not act recklessly. He took out a pink flying sword, which he had obtained from the storage ring of Zhang Fei, a disciple of the Sea League, before entering the 13 palaces. With a thought, the flying sword drew a pink light and rushed into the sky. In just a few breaths, it had disappeared into the sea of lightning above the Black Mountain. The moment the flying sword entered the Black Mountain, Qin Feng suddenly lost contact with the flying sword. He couldn't withdraw the flying sword even if he wanted to. It was blown up just like that. Qin Feng was dumbfounded. It was a pink flying sword, but it was blown into nothingness the moment it flew into the sea of lightning. This showed how ferocious the lightning on the Black Mountain was. Chapter 1869. The lightning on the Black Mountain could instantly destroy spirit weapons, so Qin Feng naturally wouldn't go up the mountain directly. He sat at the foot of the mountain and started to set up a formation, trying to draw the lightning down. After he could set up a level 5 spirit gathering formation, Qin Feng tried to set up a level 5 lightning storage formation. He found that once he broke through the bottleneck and understood the essence of the formation, he just needed to make some slight changes and he would be able to understand everything. The first level 5 lightning storage formation was formed. Because it was his first time setting it up, he spent a lot of time and energy. Fortunately, the level 5 lightning storage formation was successfully activated, proving that Qin Feng had completely stepped into the ranks of a level 5 spirit formation master. Next, the level 5 lightning storage formation became easier. Not only did the formation speed become faster, but the energy in the formation also became stronger. After spending half a day, Qin Feng created a total of 50 level 5 lightning storage formations. He let out a long breath and focused his eyes on the Black Mountain. Now was the time to test the effect of these lightning storage formations, and whether the lightning on the Black Mountain could leave the Black Mountain. Swoosh! With a wave of his hand, a dozen formation flags fell to the ground. A loud sound came from the mountain peak. Several waist-thick black lightning bolts exploded a few hundred meters in front of Qin Feng. At the moment of the explosion, Qin Feng felt the ground shake violently as if there was an earthquake. He saw the level 5 lightning storage formation that he activated explode and his eyeballs almost fell to the ground. At this moment, Qin Feng was pleasantly surprised. He was shocked by the power of the lightning on the Black Mountain. At the same time, he was happy that the sea of lightning on the Black Mountain could be drawn out. Qin Feng realized that the lightning bolts could be drawn out from the Black Mountain. This way, he could seal the lightning source in the energy slot and provide it to the 100-mile light sniper. The level 5 lightning storage formation that was destroyed was just a test for Qin Feng to test the power of the lightning bolts. Since a level 5 lightning storage formation couldn't withstand the power of the lightning source, then he would just activate a few more. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. For a time, Qinfen's hands shot out unceasingly. Hundreds of array flags scattered like flowers from the heavens. Several hundred meters in front of him emitted bursts of strange energy fluctuations. This time, Qinfen simply activated the remaining 49 thunder-storing arrays. He didn't believe that they would be destroyed by the thunder source. The moment the formation was activated, an earth-shattering sound came from the Black Mountain. This time, dozens of black lightning bolts, each as thick as a human's waist, descended from the sky like dozens of black dragons. The array formation did not explode in an instant, but the 49 lightning storage arrays were filled up in an instant, and cracks even appeared on a few of the arrays. Even though Qinfen saw it with his own eyes, he still found it hard to accept. He thought to himself, what the hell was this thunder source on the Black Mountain? It was even more ferocious than the 9 changes true thunder triggered by his breakthrough. He quickly came to his senses and immediately kept the array flags. The 49 lightning-storing arrays were shut down, and only then did the surging thunder and lightning from the Black Mountain stop. Looking at the 49 thunder-accumulating arrays filled with thunder sources, Qinfen's eyes shined with a green light. It was as if he had found a sweet spring in a desert. Without thinking, he took out the energy tank and began to absorb the thunder source's energy. When he went to Coiling Dragon Mountain to search for treasures, Qinfen had used up all the thunder source in the energy tank during his battle with Hong Fei. Afterwards, Hong Fei had been frightened by him and used the Grade 7 Escaping Earth Talisman to escape. Otherwise, Qinfen would have been killed. Now that the energy tank was in a completely empty state, the speed at which it absorbed the thunder source was extremely fast. In less than an incense stick of time, all the thunder source in the 20 lightning-storing arrays had been sucked dry, and the energy tank had reached a state of saturation. This caused Qinfen to once again be shocked by the might of the thunder sea on the Black Mountain. It had to be known that when he broke through to the 7 changes Buddha aura, the thunder tribulation he triggered hadn't been able to fill up the energy tank. But thinking about it, Qinfen understood. Now he was arranging a Grade 5 lightning-storing array, and the one he had arranged was only a Grade 4 lightning-storing array. When the energy tank was full, Qinfen began to worry again. There were still 29 thunder source left in the lightning-storing arrays. These thunder source were violent and ferocious, as if it could break through the lightning-storing arrays at any time. Qinfen didn't dare to imagine the consequences if the lightning-storing arrays were broken. He knew that it would be a great catastrophe for him, and it was hard to say whether he could survive or not. However, he didn't have any other treasures to store thunder source, and he didn't have the time to check the Grade 5 lightning-storing arrays. Qinfen hurriedly entered his consciousness into the system, planning to buy an energy tank. The energy tank that Qinfen had was the smallest model in the system, but it still cost him 500,000 hedonist points. He looked at his remaining 1,429,000 hedonist points, gritted his teeth, and spent 1,000,000 hedonist points to buy a medium-sized energy tank. Ding! Host has spent 1,000,000 hedonist points and successfully purchased an energy tank. Host's total hedonist points, 429,000. Host has spent a total of 7,830,000 hedonist points. Host will be promoted to a rank 9 hedonist mortal after spending another 2,170,000 hedonist points. Host, please continue to work hard. The system notification sounded. Qinfen was in a good mood as he saw that he was getting closer and closer to becoming a rank 9 hedonist mortal. A brand new energy tank appeared in his hand. It was the same size as Qinfen's energy tank. However, when he held the energy tank in his hand, Qinfen could clearly feel that the hidden energy in it was much more abundant. The energy tank had already been thrown out by Qinfeng, and it quickly absorbed all the lightning in the remaining 29 lightning storage arrays. At this time, the energy in the energy tank had not even reached half its capacity. This directly proved that it had an enormous storage capacity. After storing all the thunder source, Qinfen's heart finally calmed down. However, when he looked at the Black Mountain again, his heart became heavy. 49 Grade 5 lightning storing arrays could definitely store an enormous amount of thunder source energy, Qin Fan thought that the sea of lightning on the Black Mountain would weaken, but he realized that he was overthinking. The sea of lightning was still as ferocious as ever, as if nothing had changed. Are you kidding me? How am I supposed to go up? Qin Fan complained. This time, he was really at his wits' end. Little Pig's voice came. Master, the spirit-seeking insect's senses can't be wrong. It is certain that there is a treasure on the mountain top. However, with Master's current cultivation, going up the mountain is equivalent to throwing your life away. I suggest that you wait until the next time the 13 Palaces opens. Qin Fan frowned. Even Little Pig advised him to give up. This meant that this Black Lightning Mountain was more terrifying than he imagined. However, Qin Fan didn't have the time to wait. He urgently needed an opportunity to break through. The next time the 13 Palaces opened was 10 years later. Did he have to wait 10 years to avenge Ouyang Jun and the others? As if feeling the change in Qin Fan's mood, Little Pig finally sighed. Master, if you really want to go up the mountain, then prepare more lightning guiding arrays and lightning storing arrays. Also, put on your spirit armor. If you really are in a life or death situation, then immediately enter the astral world. This was the first time Qin Fan heard Little Pig speak in such a tone. His heart even wavered a little, but the thought of retreating quickly disappeared. If he retreated every time he encountered an opportunity because it was difficult and dangerous, then he could forget about breaking through to the next realm. He could forget about taking revenge and protecting the people around him. He could just sit and wait to be killed by stronger cultivators. This wasn't what Qin Fan wanted. He knew that he had to become stronger because there were too many people that needed his protection. In the blink of an eye, 3 days passed. Qin Fan had already set up more than 200 lightning storing arrays and a dozen lightning guiding arrays at the foot of the mountain. He had almost used up all the materials he had collected over the years to set up the arrays. However, he knew that he had to be conservative. Otherwise, he would lose his life and all the cultivation resources would be useless. In these 3 days, Qin Fan also discovered some patterns. The lightning on the Black Mountain became the most intense at sunrise. It even forced Qin Fan to retreat a few hundred meters to set up the arrays. However, when the sun set, the lightning source weakened a little, and Qin Fan could move another 100 meters closer to the Black Mountain. However, the weakening of the lightning source was only relative to when it was at sunrise. For Qin Fan, even when the Sea of Lightning was at its weakest, it was still incomparably powerful. At the very least, it wouldn't be any weaker than the lightning tribulation he triggered when he broke through. After all the preparations were done, Qin Fan waited for the sun to set. He looked at the setting sun halfway down the mountain and took out his flying sword. Golden light flashed. In just a few breaths of time, Qin Fan crossed the several hundred meters. When he entered the mountainside, he felt as if he had broken through a barrier. He immediately understood that there was an array set up on the Black Mountain. It should be a shielding array that cut off the connection between the Black Mountain and the outside world. In an instant, Qin Fan understood many things. No wonder there was only a turbulent sea of lightning above the Black Mountain, and no changes in the weather outside. Also, Qin Fan realized that this shielding array had been around for too long, and was about to disappear. Otherwise, he wouldn't have drawn the Sea of Lightning to the lightning storing array outside. These thoughts only flashed through his mind. He suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. The moment he entered the shielding array, a black lightning bolt landed on his body, instantly turning several of the spirit armors on his body into powder. These spirit armors were the spoils of war that Qin Fan had killed and robbed. Their levels weren't too high. He simply didn't have the time to feel distressed over a dozen spirit armors being destroyed in an instant. He felt that if he didn't put up a resistance, he would be smashed to pieces in the next second in this sea of lightning. Shwa! When 3 black lightning bolts as thick as a person's waist appeared above his head, Qin Fan immediately threw out several hundred array flags. These array flags were like flowers scattered by a celestial maiden, falling on the lightning guiding array and lightning storing array at the bottom of the mountain. A burst of loud sounds came from outside. Qin Fan looked at the black lightning above his head and let out a sigh of relief. However, He didn't stop at all and immediately urged his flying sword to rush towards the top of the mountain. The Black Mountain wasn't high. It seemed to be only 100 meters or so. However, when Qinfen really climbed up the mountain, he discovered that this distance of 100 meters was hundreds of times more difficult than climbing to the top of Mount Everest. As he flew higher and higher, thunder roared in his ears. The loud sound was about to burst his eardrums. The lightning bolts circling above his head crisscrossed, like dense spider webs. So the thunder source is at the top of the mountain. The closer I get to the top, the fiercer the attack of the lightning. I'm only halfway up the mountain and I'm already half dead. How can I reach the top? Although Qinfen had mentally prepared himself the moment he took out his flying sword to climb the mountain, he still couldn't bear it. The sea of lightning on the Black Mountain was much stronger than he had imagined. Chapter 1870. At this moment, Qinfen wanted to escape from Black Mountain immediately, but he realized that it was easier to get in than to get out. There was a trapping formation hidden in the Black Mountain, and it was a very high-level trapping formation. Qinfen didn't notice it when he came in, but when he wanted to get out, he was blocked by an invisible barrier. His escape route was completely blocked, so Qinfen had to force himself to rush to the top of the mountain. Although he was standing on a flying sword, his speed was even slower than a tortoise climbing a mountain. Every time he moved half a meter, he would feel the pressure on his head double. Qinfen had already circulated his inner qi to protect his body. His inner qi was extremely strong, but he couldn't withstand the aftershocks of the lightning. He didn't know when, but the creation scripture automatically activated, and Qinfen's body was surrounded by blue lightning. It was the fourth stage of the Vajra exercise, Hallowed Thunder Body. The Vajra exercise had a total of 9 stages, and Qinfen had broken through to the fourth stage of the Hallowed Thunder Body. The defense of this stage was invincible in the Sage King realm, and it could withstand the fierce attacks of Buddha light cultivators. But in this fierce sea of lightning, it was useless. Right now, Qin Feng's only life-saving method was to continuously guide the black lightning to the lightning-storing formation at the foot of the mountain. However, he quickly became depressed. The 200 or so level 5 lightning-storing formations at the foot of the mountain were unknowingly full. Crackle! More black lightning as thick as a person's waist exploded from the top of the mountain. Qinfen immediately felt the aura of death. Without thinking, he quickly threw out dozens of formation flags, and then he heard a loud explosion from the foot of the mountain. When he looked up, he felt despair. A few of the thunder storage formations could not withstand the power of the lightning and exploded, causing the surrounding thunder storage formations to explode one after another. More than 200 formations were destroyed. The scene was like the end of the world. Qinfen felt the Black Mountain shake violently. Rocks rolled down from the top of the mountain, and a few large rocks hit him, causing him to vomit blood. "Master, hide in the astral space!" Little Pig shouted anxiously. Qinfen also realized that he was in a desperate situation. Now that the thunder storage formation had been destroyed, the next lightning would strike him. With his current realm, it was impossible for him to withstand the attack of the black lightning. But Qinfen didn't want to enter the astral space. If he did, he would be completely trapped in the astral space. Even if there were 2 spirit veins and many spirit herbs in the astral space to help him break through, it would be useless if he didn't have the opportunity to break through. Rumble! Just as he hesitated for a moment, a thunderous roar came from above his head. 3 black ring-shaped lightning bolts flew over like black dragons and exploded on his body. This was the first time Qin Feng had been struck by lightning from the Black Mountain. Previously, he had only felt the residual power of the lightning. In an instant, his clothes were torn, his skin was charred, and smoke rose from his body. He looked like a person who had been roasted. This was only the external situation. The 3 bolts of lightning had caused even more serious damage to his body. He began to vomit blood, and his inner qi was instantly thrown into chaos. It was like a crazy beast rampaging in his body. The blue light on Qinfen's body changed. It turned into an illusory doppelganger that soared into the sky. However, the defense of the doppelganger wasn't very strong. In other words, it wasn't strong enough against the ferocious black lightning. In an instant, it was destroyed by the lightning. Qin Fen realized that his Vajra esoteric arts had broken through again. It had reached the 5th level of true essence doppelganger. When the Vajra esoteric arts was activated, a doppelganger would be created to block the attack. The doppelganger's defense was actually very strong. It was invincible in the Buddha aura realm. It could even block the fierce attack of a venerable true spirit for a moment. However, Qin Fen didn't feel happy because of the Vajra esoteric arts breakthrough. He knew that the true essence doppelganger's level was still too low. It couldn't block the black lightning's attack at all. He watched as 3 more black lightning bolts fell from above. At this moment, he felt as if he could see death approaching. Little Pig squealed anxiously. Qin Fen didn't plan to enter the astral world. He knew that once he entered, he wouldn't be able to come out for 8 to 10 years. By the time he came out, the Divine Supreme Continent would be in chaos. The Spirit Immortal Kingdom and Emperor Qin would probably be long gone. Rumble! As these thoughts flashed through his mind, the black lightning fell. Qin Fen felt a sharp pain in his head. Even his sea of consciousness was severely injured. His consciousness was fading away quickly. The golden flying sword under his feet fell to the side of the mountain, and lost its golden brilliance. Qin Fen floated in the air as his body was continuously attacked by the lightning. It looked like a god who had violated the heavenly rules and was being punished by the heavenly lightning. After his consciousness disappeared, Qin Fen's bodily functions also started to disappear. His breathing and heart stopped, but only the Creation Chapter's Heart Sutra continued to circulate. Moreover, the circulation speed became faster and faster. In his dantian, there was a ball of air flowing along with it, forming a spinning cyclone. The cyclone actually started to absorb the lightning in his body and convert the lightning source into spirit qi to devour. Time flew. After an unknown amount of time, Qin Fen's body was burned to a crisp. However, his dantian felt like it was expanding. The feeling grew stronger and stronger. In the end, there was a loud bang as if something inside his body had exploded. However, it was this huge movement within his body that shook Qin Fen awake. He immediately checked his body's condition and was pleasantly surprised to find that he had inexplicably broken through to the 8 changes of Buddha's aura. However, this joy did not last for long. He immediately frowned and looked towards the void. There was another purple lightning ring in the dense thunderclouds. At this moment, Qin Fen wanted to cry but had no tears. He couldn't even withstand the lightning from the Black Mountain. In the end, the 9 changes true lightning triggered by his breakthrough came again. "Master, something's wrong!" Little Pig suddenly cried out. Qin Fen was prepared to die, but after waiting for a while, he realized that there was no lightning falling. He looked into the sky again, and was immediately stunned by the scene in front of him. Lightning crisscrossed in the sky and a loud bang sounded. The lightning tribulation he triggered was fighting with the lightning from the Black Mountain. "What's going on?" Qin Fen really didn't understand. Little Pig thought for a moment, and shouted excitedly. "Master! The Divine Continent has 9 great lightning tribulations. Rumor has it that these 9 great lightning tribulations are enemies. As long as 2 of them meet, they will fight each other." Qin Fen's eyes widened. He looked at the dark sea of lightning in the void and said, "You mean, the lightning on the Black Mountain is also one of the 9 great lightning tribulations?" "Most likely, but I don't know what kind of lightning tribulation this is," Little Pig said. Qin Fen didn't know whether he should be happy or depressed at this moment. Other cultivators would never encounter a lightning tribulation in their entire lives. He had only been in the Divine Continent for 2 years and he had already encountered 2. While he was complaining in his heart, Little Pig hurriedly shouted, "Master, now is the best time to go up the mountain." Qin Fen woke up with a start and looked at the sky. At this moment, the 2 types of lightning were fighting fiercely, so no lightning came to attack him. Qin Fen even felt the pressure on his body lessen a lot. With a slight thought, the shining flying sword turned into a golden light and shot towards him, immediately carrying him towards the top of the mountain. His speed was still very slow, but it was much faster than the speed at which the tortoise climbed the mountain. When Qin Fan flew 3/4 of the way up the mountain, he once again felt an unprecedented pressure. He looked up and found that the 9 changes true lightning seemed to have stopped. This was the first time he hoped that the lightning tribulation triggered by his breakthrough would strike a few more times. However, reality didn't care about Qin Fan's feelings. Every time the 9 changes true lightning was triggered, it would trigger the 9/9 lightning tribulation. At this moment, the last 3 lightning bolts struck down and were about to be completely devoured by the black lightning. Qin Fan didn't know what kind of lightning tribulation this black lightning was. If it was also one of the divine continent's 9 great killing lightning tribulations, why was its power more ferocious than the 9 changes true lightning? However, Qin Fan quickly realized that it wasn't the black lightning that was more ferocious. It was the source of the black lightning that seemed to be continuously releasing lightning bolts, while the 9 changes true lightning only had 9 waves. After flying for a while, Qin Fan was only a dozen meters away from the mountain peak. Normally, he could cross this distance in the blink of an eye, but now that the mountain peak was within his reach, Qin Fan felt that there was an insurmountable gap in front of him. When despair rose again, many thoughts suddenly appeared in Qin Fan's mind. The first thing he thought of was the heavenly thunder tactic, and he had a new understanding of this cultivation method. Qin Fan quickly calmed himself down as if he was outside the sea of lightning. He grabbed the genie sword and stabbed the void above his head. Heavenly thunder tactic, first form, lightning attraction. Rumble. The sword pierced through the sky and attracted a new lightning bolt. However, the lightning bolt he attracted was too weak. It didn't even leave a trace in the black lightning and the 9 changes true lightning before it was devoured. Qin Fan didn't care and stabbed the sword again. Heavenly thunder tactic, second form, lightning transformation. The lightning bolt attracted by this sword turned into a blue lightning dragon that soared into the sky. Although its power was much stronger than the first strike, it was still devoured by the black lightning in an instant. Third form, myriad lightning greeting. Several lightning bolts fell. Judging by their aura alone, they seemed to be comparable to the remaining 9 changes true lightning. However, the nature of the lightning they attracted was not as good as the lightning tribulation, and it disappeared in the sea of lightning once again. Qin Fan didn't stop. The reason he used the first 3 forms of the heavenly thunder tactic was because he wanted to break through to the 4th form. Countless fragments of white light formed in his mind gradually fused together. It was a magical feeling, as if he didn't need to think too much about it to understand the essence of something. Heavenly thunder tactic, 4th form. Lightning shield. After a momentary pause, Qin Fan suddenly roared. When he used the 4th form, he was a little shocked. He always thought that the heavenly thunder tactic focused on offense. He didn't expect the 4th form to be a defensive move. No wonder he was stuck at the 3rd form, myriad lightning greeting. It turned out that there was a deviation in his thinking. Qin Fan understood why he suddenly had an epiphany. It was because the current situation had given him an opportunity. Coupled with the help of the creation of heaven and earth skill, everything became natural. At this moment, a layer of lightning shield appeared around him. The layers of the shield overlapped each other, as if the lightning had formed a solid wall. Qin Fan's mind moved slightly, and a golden light appeared under his feet. At the same time, he activated the creation chapter mantra at full force and rushed toward the mountain peak without a care for anything else. Chapter 1871. The thunder shield was much stronger than Qin Fan had imagined. He suddenly felt the pressure around him decrease. A golden light appeared under his feet, and he actually broke through the distance of more than 10 meters. When his feet landed, Qin Fan found a sense of security, but he soon became nervous again. He found that the thunder shield had disappeared. It must have been broken when he broke through. This was the peak of Black Mountain, where the source of the black thunder was released. If a few bolts of black thunder fell now, Qin Fan believed he would definitely die. However, what he worried about did not happen. When he looked up at the sky, he was immediately stunned by the scene in front of him. The sky was filled with black thunder, and the 9 changes true thunder caused by his breakthrough had been completely devoured. However, the black thunder arcs did not fall on the peak, but only exploded around the peak. This discovery made Qin Fen very happy. He carefully walked around the peak, making sure that the less than 100 square meters of empty space on the peak would not be attacked by the thunder. However, he was soon disappointed. There was nothing on the peak, and there was no treasure like the spirit-seeking bug said. "Little pig, that bug is killing me," Qin Fen complained. The spirit-seeking bug cried excitedly in the system, and Little Pig immediately translated. "Master! The spirit-seeking bug said that the treasure is on the mountain. Let it out, and it will help you find it." Qin Fen moved his mind slightly, and a little bug with a blue glow appeared in the air. As soon as it came out of the system, the spirit-seeking bug immediately flew in one direction and landed in the center of the peak. When he walked past this place earlier, Qin Fen did not discover anything out of the ordinary. However, when the spirit-seeking insect purposefully came here, he noticed the 2 strange patterns on the ground. When he saw the 2 patterns, he immediately thought of the 2 spirit turtle shells on him. Qin Fen quickly took out the turtle shells and found that the 2 turtle shells were perfectly placed in the grooves. Suddenly, the grooves shot out 2 beams of white light, and there was a strange wave of energy. "So this mountain is the mountain of life. Then the array gate in front of me is the gate of life?" Qin Fen's eyes were filled with shock. When he came in, he heard from Hao Yuele that the treasure that the Xinkuan sect was looking for was the key to open the gate of life. Hao Yuele also said that the gate of life was located on the mountain of life. Now that the 2 turtle tokens had opened a formation, it was obvious that this formation was the gate of life and this black lightning mountain was the mountain of life. The reason why Qin Feng entered the 13th palace was to find an opportunity to break through. Although he didn't know what would be inside the door of life, it must be a place of treasure for the Xinkuan sect and Han Fei to value it so much. Just as he was guessing, the array formation was fully activated, and a door of light appeared in the void in front of him. The array door was faintly discernible, as though it was connected to the mountain of life and another world. Even though Qin Feng had just become a level 5 spirit array master, he couldn't see through the array in front of him. However, he could vaguely sense that the array in front of him was stronger than the level 8 disorienting array. It was at least a level 9 pinnacle array. The moment the formation door appeared, it was as if it had a magical power. Qin Feng walked step by step towards the formation door. When he was 5 or 6 meters away from the formation door, he was sucked in by a powerful suction force. He felt a sharp pain in his head, and when he opened his eyes again, he found that his surroundings had changed drastically. He was no longer on the mountain of life, and there were no dark clouds or crisscrossing lightning nets. In front of him was a boundless chaotic world. The thick fog made it difficult to see what was real and what was real. However, there was a towering tree in the fog. There was no fog within 100 meters of the tree, and it formed a sharp contrast with other places. There were 4 springs under the tree, and the spring water was crystal clear. It made people want to rush over and drink a few mouthfuls of water. That was exactly what Qin Feng did. When he saw the spring water, it was as if he had walked in the desert for 3 days and 3 nights. He rushed to the edge of the spring like a madman. When he saw the spring water from a close distance, his heart was filled with raging waves. How was this spring water? These were 4 spirit marrow ponds. Qin Feng had never seen a spiritual quintessence pond since he came to the Divine Continent. He had found a spiritual spring pond in the Devil Beast Mountain outside Hero City, and it was also because of that spiritual spring pond that he met his father, Guqin. However, a spiritual spring pond was nothing compared to a spiritual quintessence pond. The concentration of spiritual energy in a spiritual quintessence pond was equivalent to 10 spiritual spring ponds. Moreover, spiritual quintessence ponds had different grades. Although it was Qin Feng's first time seeing a spiritual quintessence pond, he could tell from the condensed spiritual crystals in the 4 spiritual quintessence ponds that they were definitely high-grade spiritual quintessence ponds. Speaking of spiritual crystals, Qin Feng first thought of the 8 spiritual beads he found on the 5 Elements Mountain in the North Sand Continent. In fact, those 8 spiritual beads were spiritual crystals. Not long ago, when he found the green crane blade in the starry weapon workshop, the waiter had asked for 500 million high-grade spiritual stones and 10 spiritual crystals. From this, it could be seen that spiritual crystals were extremely rare treasures in the divine continent. At this time, the 4 spiritual quintessence ponds were filled with spiritual crystals. There were at least 1,000 of them in total. The spiritual energy contained in these spiritual crystals was equivalent to the spiritual energy of 1 billion high-grade spiritual stones. If they were all used for cultivation, the effects would be unimaginable. The 1,000 spiritual crystals were secondary. The real treasures were the 4 spiritual quintessence ponds. Although each spiritual quintessence pond was only the size of an ordinary swimming pool, the spiritual energy contained in each spiritual quintessence pond was unpredictable. After quickly calming himself down, Qin Feng took a look around. He found that there was nothing else in this small secret territory except for the 4 spiritual quintessence ponds and a towering tree. "Master! This seems to be an alternate space," Little Pig suddenly said. Qin Feng's expression changed. He knew what the alternate space Little Pig was talking about. The astral world space he owned was an alternate space. It did not belong to the divine continent at all. This reminded him of his exploration on the God-Fallen Island. In the end, he entered the God-Fallen Island's secret territory. That secret territory was also an alternate space. According to Qin Feng's speculation, that space was specially placed on the God-Fallen Island by an almighty to grow. There was a mysterious herb garden in that space, and the devouring black fog would appear from time to time. According to Qin Feng's speculation, after the black fog devoured the cultivators that entered it, it would release their true essence and spiritual energy into the space. The spiritual energy could expand the space and grow the high-grade spiritual herbs in the mysterious herb garden. However, Qin Feng had already taken away all the spirit herbs in the herb garden. He had ruined the Almighty's plan. Back then, Qin Feng didn't understand what the devouring black fog was. Now that he had unlocked the system's spirit-insect interface, he suspected that the black fog that filled the sky was formed by countless devouring spirits. Qin Feng put aside his messy thoughts. Now was not the time to think about the God-Fallen Island's secret territory, nor was it the time to speculate about the secret territory. What he needed to do now was to use the 4 spiritual quintessence ponds to break through. Also, the towering tree. Qin Feng felt that it was a treasure of the highest quality that could only be found by chance. Mobile users, please browse and enjoy a better reading experience. First, set a small goal. For example, remember in 1 second, Booksellers Mobile. Chapter 1872. Qin Feng tossed aside his messy thoughts and jumped into a spirit marrow pond. Immediately, dense spirit chi surged into Qin Feng's body, filling up his empty dantian after breaking through to the 8 changes of Buddha aura. The creation chapter activated automatically, doubling the speed at which Qin Feng absorbed spirit chi. However, he wasn't in a hurry to cultivate and break through. When he climbed the life mountain, he had been struck by the destructive lightning and suffered some internal injuries. Even his divine sense had been severely damaged, so he needed to recuperate first. If an ordinary cultivator's divine sense was severely damaged, it was equivalent to being sentenced to death. However, Qin Feng had refined the mind-cleansing pill, so an injury to his divine sense was nothing to him. At the same time, Qin Feng had refined the spirit-cleansing pill with Yuanqio's 100 Immortals flower not long ago. He planned to clean up the pill toxins in his body so that his breakthrough would be smoother. A dozen jade bottles were placed in front of him. Qin Feng opened them one by one and poured the pills inside into his mouth. Each of these pills was extremely precious. Even the mind-cleansing pill couldn't be sold in the South Flat Continent. However, he ate them as easily as eating candy. He didn't even frown or feel the pinch. Fortunately, no one could see Qin Feng eating the pills. Otherwise, their eyes would have popped out of their sockets. When the various pills entered his mouth, they began to display their miraculous effects. After 15 minutes, Qin Feng's external injuries began to heal. After 15 minutes, the chaotic inner qi in his body calmed down, and his internal injuries were mostly healed. 4 hours later, Qin Feng's damaged divine sense gradually recovered. Half a day had passed, and his body was covered in a black, mud-like filth. It was the pill toxins forced out of his body after eating the spirit-cleansing pill. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Qin Feng's body had been completely absorbed, and his injuries were basically healed. More and more pill toxins were seeping out of his skin. The first batch of pill toxins had already fallen into the spirit marrow pond. After adjusting his body's condition, Qin Feng prepared to break through. He was pleasantly surprised to find that in these 3 days, his empty dantian had been filled up by just relying on the creation chapter's cultivation chapter. There were even signs of breaking through to the 9 changes of Buddha aura. Qin Feng immediately took out the 49 grade 5 thunder storing arrays from his star ring and set them up around the spirit quintessence pond. He then took out the 2 bottles of supreme spiritual pills that Long Qianjun had given him and swallowed 2 of them. The pill melted in Qin Feng's mouth, and 2 majestic waves of spiritual qi surged through his body. When the spiritual qi released by the pill and the spiritual qi in the spirit pith pond fused, it formed a spiritual qi whirlpool. The whirlpool produced a subtle explosion, and the sound of the explosion became louder and louder. It was as if his body was going to explode. Qin Feng suddenly became anxious and regretted eating 2 divine spirit pills at once. These pills were dozens of times more powerful than other pills that could help a peak Buddha light cultivator reach the spirit detecting realm. They were pills that could definitely help a cultivator reach the true spirit realm. However, it was too late to say all this now. He immediately sped up the creation chapter. As the Heart Sutra sped up, the speed at which Qin Feng's body absorbed spirit qi also sped up. An hour later, a loud sound came from his body. The suppressed dantian was suddenly released. He had actually broken through just like that. Rumble! When Qin Feng realized that he might have broken through, dense thunderclouds appeared above his head, proving that he had really stepped into the 9 changes Buddha light. With the help of the 49 lightning storage arrays, the lightning tribulation this time was relatively easy. After all the lightning fell, only 32 lightning storage arrays were filled. Qin Feng planned to stop first and put the thunder source and the lightning storage arrays into the energy tank before continuing to break through. However, before he could completely absorb the effects of the pill, the spiritual qi in the spirit pith pond surged even more violently. Bang! Just as he stepped into the 9 changes Buddha light, another muffled sound came from his body. The lightning tribulation of the true spirit realm had actually come. Qin Feng couldn't help but feel a bit nervous. When he broke through to the Buddha light realm, the lightning tribulation was already comparable to the lightning tribulation ordinary cultivators would face when they reached the void god realm. Now that he had stepped into the true spirit realm, who knew how terrifying the 9 changes true thunder would be? Just a moment later, the first wave of 3 bolts of lightning descended. Each bolt of lightning was as thick as a person's waist. Without thinking, Qin Feng immediately used the 4th form of the heavenly thunder method, lightning barrier. At the same time, he circulated the true essence he had just formed in his body to resist. Rumble! 3 bolts of lightning exploded on his body at the same time. He didn't use the lightning storage arrays to store the lightning bolts. Firstly, he wanted to feel how fierce the lightning tribulation was when he broke through to the true spirit realm. Secondly, the lightning tribulation at the beginning was weaker, so Qin Feng planned to use the remaining lightning storage arrays to deal with the lightning tribulation at the end. However, when the lightning exploded, the lightning barrier on Qin Feng's body was instantly broken. The true essence barrier around his body shook violently, but it didn't shatter. At this moment, Qin Feng was both surprised and happy. He realized that the lightning tribulation of the true spirit realm didn't become stronger. It was no different from the lightning tribulation of the Buddha light realm. Master! The sure-kill lightning tribulation doesn't become more and more fierce. Instead, it's the most destructive when it first appears. After Master gets through the early stages of the lightning tribulation, he will gradually adapt to the power of the lightning tribulation. Breaking through to the next realm will become easier. Little Pig's voice sounded. Qin Feng suddenly understood. His understanding of the sure-kill lightning tribulation was wrong from the start. He thought that this lightning tribulation would become stronger as the cultivator's cultivation increased. The sure-kill lightning tribulation was actually the first time it appeared. This was because most cultivators would die the first time the sure-kill lightning tribulation appeared. That was why it was called the sure-kill lightning tribulation. After understanding the situation, Qin Feng was enlightened. The lightning tribulation that gave him a headache was resolved. When the next few bolts of lightning descended, he didn't think twice and guided them into the lightning storage array. Half an hour later, the thunder clouds in the sky dissipated. When Qin Feng opened his eyes again, he felt a huge change in his body. The most obvious change was that his inner chi had condensed into true essence, and a sparkling spirit pearl had formed in his dantian. I've finally stepped into the true spirit realm! Qin Feng roared towards the sky. He was only 26 years old, but he had already stepped into the true spirit realm. If he was still in the North Sand continent, he would definitely be the youngest true spirit realm expert. However, in the South Flat continent, Qin Feng couldn't jump to conclusions. He quickly suppressed his excitement. There were many Nihility God realm and even body condensation realm experts among his enemies. He knew that the true spirit realm was just the beginning of his cultivation. He had a strong desire to become stronger. After completely absorbing the medicinal effects of the 2 supreme spirit pills, Qin Feng immediately took out 3 spirit pills and swallowed them. These were level 4 rank 7 king pills and could increase the chances of a true spirit realm cultivator breaking through. After stepping into the true spirit realm, Qin Feng started to worry about his pill refining skills. He was still at the level of a level 4 rank 7 pill king, and it was hard for him to improve. Later stage true spirit realm cultivators needed pills that were at the level of level 5 rank 7 king pills. He had to find time to improve his pill refining skills. Now wasn't the time to think about improving his pill refining skills. When the 3 spirit pills entered his mouth, the surging spiritual chi condensed into a whirlpool and filled Qin Feng's meridians and bones. The spirit pearl in his dantian had just condensed and was in an extremely empty state. When the spiritual chi whirlpool surged through his dantian, it was all absorbed. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, cultivation had no time. On the morning of the 5th day, Qin Feng suddenly let out a low roar and a muffled sound came from his dantian. The extreme pressure in his body was released and at that moment, he felt refreshed. The lightning calamity appeared again, and most of it was absorbed by the lightning storage array while a small portion was directly blocked by Qin Feng. He realized that ever since he broke through to the true spirit realm, and his inner chi had turned into true essence, his body's defense had increased by more than 10 times. Even if the lightning struck his body, it wouldn't cause him as much damage as before. True Spirit Realm 1, True Spirit Realm 2, True Spirit Realm 3. After he completely absorbed the 3 spirit transformation pills, Qin Feng broke through to the 4th level of the True Spirit Realm. There were still signs of breaking through in his body, but he forcefully stopped cultivating. The rapid breakthroughs had shaken his foundation, so Qin Feng decided to first stabilize his current strength before breaking through. In a short 10 days, Qin Feng had stepped into the True Spirit Realm 4 from the Buddha Light's 7 changes. This speed was like sitting on a rocket, shocking even himself. If this was told to other cultivators, they wouldn't believe it even if they were beaten to death. Even the number 1 genius cultivator in the South Flat continent couldn't compare to Qin Feng. As for whether or not the Eastfield continent had such a godly person, it was hard to say. Qin Feng stood up from the spirit marrow pond and realized that the spirit marrow in the pond had been sucked dry. Even the few hundred spirit crystals had turned into dust and fell to the bottom of the pond. He suddenly realized why he had broken through so quickly. It wasn't just because of the divine pills and spirit transformation pills, but more importantly, the spirit marrow pond. After realizing how helpful the spirit marrow was to cultivation, Qin Feng's eyes immediately lit up as he looked at the other 3 spirit marrow ponds. Luckily, there was no movement from the other 3 spirit marrow ponds. Qin Feng couldn't help but wonder if he would be able to step into the Nihility God realm after absorbing the remaining spirit marrow ponds. Although he had a strong urge to jump into the second spirit marrow pond and continue breaking through, he eventually gave up on this idea. Cultivation focused more on stable breakthroughs. That was a realm that was honed step by step. If he just kept breaking through and leveling up, even if Qin Feng stepped into the Nihility God realm, even a late-stage true spirit realm cultivator would have stronger qi than him. Qin Feng casually set up 3 spirit guiding formations and kept the 3 spirit marrow ponds into the astral space. When the spirit marrow ponds entered the astral space, the spirit qi in the space instantly rose to another level. The spirit herbs in the herb garden grew at a visible speed. There were even dozens of level 4 and 5 spirit herbs that had bloomed and bore fruit. After collecting the spirit quintessence pool, Qin Feng circled the area carefully, afraid that he would miss any other treasures. However, he discovered that there were no other items in this little mystery realm. The only thing that was left was the towering tree. Qin Feng walked around the tree and couldn't understand what kind of tree it was. However, he felt an inexplicable change in his state of mind. The joy and excitement from breaking through quickly disappeared and his heart became as still as water. Chapter 1873. Tree of Life? What's that? It was Qin Feng's first time hearing about it. Follow? Dream? La Little Pig explained. Rumor has it that there are 10 great immortal herbs on the divine supreme continent, and the Tree of Life is one of them. Qin Feng was stunned. He looked at the towering tree again. Qin Feng had seen many spiritual herbs in his 2 years in the divine supreme continent. Among them were the level 7 spiritual herbs, the fire spirit lotus, the fragrant fragrance flower, and the level 7 spiritual herb, the 100 immortal flower. However, he had never seen a level 8 or 9 spiritual herb, let alone an immortal herb. Qin Feng knew that immortal herbs were higher than spiritual herbs. They were even rarer than level 9 spiritual herbs. There are only 10 immortal herbs on the divine supreme continent? Qin Feng quickly realized the important information in Little Pig's words. Master, the divine supreme continent is actually just a cultivation continent. The highest level spiritual herbs are level 9 spiritual herbs, and the highest level beasts are level 9 spiritual beasts. As for immortal herbs, immortal beasts, immortal weapons, and immortal formations, they shouldn't exist, Little Pig said. Qin Feng immediately realized that there must be a cultivation continent, but he didn't care about those higher level realms. His plan was to find his family and friends on the divine supreme continent, and bring them back to China. However, he was still curious. If the divine supreme continent is a cultivation continent, then how did the 10 great immortal herbs appear? I'm not sure about that. Qin Feng stopped thinking about it when he saw that Little Pig didn't know either. He learned that the Tree of Life was one of the 10 great immortal herbs on the divine supreme continent, so he immediately put it in his astral world. The Tree of Life was planted at the intersection of 2 spirit veins. After it was planted, Qin Feng realized that the 2 spirit veins flowed faster, and the spiritual energy they emitted became denser. The spirit herbs in the herb garden seemed to have gained intelligence, and they all grew towards the direction of the Tree of Life. A layer of bright moonlight shrouded the Tree of Life, and the circle of light slowly expanded, finally covering a small half of the astral world. Very quickly, Qin Feng discovered that the area covered by the bright circle of light seemed to be filled with the smell of life. This kind of aura was very special. When he stood within the circle of light, his thoughts became abnormally clear, and his comprehension ability reached a whole new level. Master, this is the powerful effect of the Tree of Life. It can purify the spirit root and improve a cultivator's comprehension ability, Little Pig explained. Qin Feng finally understood why he was able to step into the 4th level of the true spirit realm from the 7 transformations of Buddha's light in a short 10 days. This was definitely not because of the medicinal pills and the spirit marrow pond. The biggest reason was actually the powerful abilities of the Tree of Life. No amount of spirit chi could satisfy the bottleneck of a breakthrough. It required a cultivator's mind to reach a new realm. Qin Fen had been cultivating under the Tree of Life at that time, and his state of mind and comprehension had been raised to an unprecedented level. When Qin Feng stood at the peak of the Life Mountain again, his cultivation had completely stabilized at the peak of the fourth true spirit realm. What he wanted to do the most right now was to find someone to fight with, and feel the changes in his breakthrough. As soon as he came out of the secret realm, Qin Fen discovered many changes. The array door that looked like a fog and light had disappeared. Even the 2 grooves on the ground had disappeared. He immediately realized that the array door was supported by the spirit marrow pond. Now that he had taken away the spirit marrow pond and the Tree of Life in the secret realm, the array was also closed. The thunder above his head was still roaring and black lightning crisscrossed. When Qin Feng saw this seemingly endless source of lightning, he immediately thought of another terrifying matter. It was definitely not a coincidence that this secret realm appeared on the Life Mountain. Some cultivator must have purposely placed the secret realm here. Their goal was very obvious. They wanted to use the energy of the lightning source to nurture the Tree of Life. Qin Feng even suspected that the 4 spirit marrow ponds were transformed from the energy of the lightning source. Qin Feng couldn't imagine how many years it took for the 4 spirit marrow ponds to transform into the lightning source. However, he knew that he had ruined another Almighty's plan. Not only did he steal the spirit marrow pond, he even stole one of the 10 great immortal herbs, the Tree of Life. If that Almighty found out, he would definitely be furious. To be able to place a secret realm on the Life Mountain, it was hard for Qin Feng to imagine how powerful that Almighty must be. The reason he was able to climb the mountain alive was not only because he had the strength and opportunity, but also because he triggered the breakthrough lightning tribulation and the black lightning on the Life Mountain. Otherwise, he would have died here long ago. But how many cultivators on the Divine Continent could trigger a fatal lightning tribulation? Could it be that the Almighty who set up the small secret realm also triggered a fatal lightning tribulation? Or could it be that he had already stepped into the true God realm, or even higher, and entered the Life Mountain as if he was walking on flat ground? These thoughts flashed through Qin Feng's mind. He didn't want to speculate too deeply because he felt that the other party would not be able to find him. These things would probably end up unresolved. Since he had broken through to the true spirit realm 4, it was much easier to descend the mountain than to climb it. Although he was still struck by dozens of black lightning bolts, Qin Feng relied on the lightning shield and true essence protection to withstand the fierce black lightning bolts. However, when he broke through the shielding formation on the Life Mountain, his vision suddenly darkened and he felt a stinging pain in his sea of consciousness. It seemed that he had entered a teleportation formation. When Qin Feng opened his eyes again, the surrounding scenery had changed drastically. He was now sure that he had been sent to an unfamiliar place by the teleportation formation. Yuzhong, I will ask you one last time. Are you going to hand over Yuanqiu or not? As soon as Qin Feng landed, a roar came from the plains hundreds of meters away. 2 groups of people had gathered there and seemed to be arguing about something. The 2 groups of people were not insignificant. The group led by the little old man was a disciple of the 5-star sect, Yuansang, while the other group wore the uniform of the 5-star sect, the Sky Lake sect. Judging from the number of people on both sides, the Sky Lake sect had 12 people, which was a bit more than the 8 people on Yuansang's side. However, the Sky Lake sect's eldest senior brother, Yuzhong, had a grave expression on his face. He was only at the peak of the true spirit realm, while the other party's little elder, Terminator, had already stepped into the empty God realm. Elder Terminator, junior sister Wanchio is a genius female disciple of the Sky Lake sect. How can we just give her to you? I don't know how junior sister offended you. I will apologize on her behalf, Yuzhong said. Terminator's old face turned cold as he roared. Humph! That bitch Yuanqiu killed my junior brother Ji-Shur. If you don't hand her over to me today, don't blame me for being impolite. Yuzhong frowned and glared at Yuanqiu with a reproachful look. Yuanqiu immediately explained. Senior Brother Zhong, 10 days ago, I found 100 immortals flower in the palace on the 0th floor. Unexpectedly, Jishu wanted to snatch it, so I fought with him. Thanks to the help of a young cultivator, we killed Jishu together. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened to me. Everything was explained. It was clear that Jishu was in the wrong first, and deserved to die. However, this was the divine supreme continent. There was no such thing as reason. The only reason was one's own fist. Chapter 1874. Nirvana was furious after hearing Yuanqio's words. He wasn't sure if Jishu was killed by Yuanqiu. After all, Jishu was at the peak of True Spirit Realm 9, while Yuanqiu was only a True Spirit Realm 7 cultivator. How could she kill Jishu? Now that the truth was out, it was Yuanqiu who found a wild man to kill Jishu. Nirvana didn't care whether Jishu stole Yuanqiu's 100 immortal flowers or not because that couldn't be a reason. You bitch, you dared to kill my Yuan Sung's sex young elder? I think you're tired of living. Nirvana had already sent out a palm and a huge palm print appeared in the void. The palm print came with a hurricane and the Sky Lake Sect's early-stage True Spirit disciples felt suffocated. Yu Zhong frowned the moment his opponent attacked. He realized how powerful Nirvana was. His opponent was an ultimate god who had stepped into the empty god realm. He was no match for him. Yu Zhong even thought of fleeing, but he knew that once he fled, the other disciples would suffer a calamity from the might of this palm strike. If it was light, they would be injured, and if it was heavy, they would lose their lives. In this way, he wouldn't be able to give the sect an explanation in the future. He had no choice but to meet it with a punch. When the huge fist print and palm print collided, there was an earth-shattering sound. Nirvana didn't move at all and sent out a clone to block the shockwave. Yu Zhong took a dozen steps back from the explosion and spat out a mouthful of blood every time he took a step back. With just one move, the outcome was decided. If Nirvana hadn't held back, Yu Zhong's life would have been in danger. Yu Zhong, since you're also a cultivation genius who reached the peak of True Spirit Realm 9 before the age of 60, I'll spare your life today. Quickly take the others and leave. I only want Yuanqiu. Nirvana's expression was cold. Although he spoke righteously, he couldn't wait for Yu Zhong to take the others and leave. After all, Sky Lake Sect was also a 5-star sect. If they really started a massacre today, Sky Lake Sect would definitely not let it go. It would lead to a war between the two sects, which was something Nirvana didn't want to see. Yu Zhong was humiliated in front of everyone, and his heart was filled with rage. He blamed all his resentment on Yuanqiu. If it wasn't for this woman stirring up trouble, he wouldn't have ended up in this situation. In fact, Yu Zhong also hated Yuanqiu. He had expressed his love for Yuanqiu, but she had rejected him. Now that this woman had gotten into big trouble, Yu Zhong couldn't be bothered to care about her life or death. Elder Terminator, please calm down. Since Yuanqiu personally admitted to killing Jishu, I will hand her over to Elder Terminator to deal with. As soon as Yu Zhong said this, the disciples of the Sky Lake sect looked at him in disbelief. Yuanqiu, in particular, felt a chill in her heart. On the Divine Continent, a sect was like a family. Disciples of the same sect were like brothers and sisters. Yu Zhong was their senior brother, yet he said such irresponsible words. It made people sigh. Nirvana laughed. Ha ha! A wise man submits to circumstances. You should hurry up and leave. Yu Zhong pretended not to hear the disciples' discussion and shouted with a serious expression. Everyone can see that I have already made a move, but I am not Elder Terminator's opponent. If everyone doesn't leave with me, you will all die here. I am doing this for your own good. With the situation in front of them, many disciples who were complaining shut their mouths and quietly stood behind Yu Zhong. There were still some disciples who were hesitant, but they heard Yuanqiu say, Everyone, leave with Yu Zhong. I don't want to implicate you. With these words, the disciples who were hesitant because of their guilt also left with Yu Zhong. Soon, only Yuanqiu was left in the open space. She was facing 8 fierce-looking male cultivators. Suddenly, someone shouted, Elder Terminator, Elder Jisho pursued this woman when he was alive, but he was rejected. Now, this woman actually dared to kill Elder Jisho. Why don't everyone take over her body? I believe Elder Jisho can rest in peace in heaven. This suggestion was immediately approved by everyone. That's right. I heard this bitch usually pretends to be pure, but she joined forces with a wild man to kill Elder Jisho. Sure. Let's make her flirtatious nature reveal itself today. After everyone takes over her body, we'll find her wild man and kill both of them. This group of people's thoughts were strange. Using this method to make Jisho rest in peace? Who knew if Jisho would be so angry that he would come back to life? Yuanchio's beautiful eyes revealed a look of disgust. She didn't expect the normally upright and dignified cultivator Yuan Tseng to be hiding such an ugly face. However, there was no one else around, so Yuanchio knew she was done for. She still subconsciously looked around, and her expression suddenly changed. Her line of sight was fixed on a plain several hundred meters behind her. There was a figure standing there. Although she couldn't see his appearance clearly because he was too far away, Yuanchio couldn't calm down after using her divine sense to scan his aura. Little brother Qiao Feng, hurry and run! Yuanchio shouted. Her expression was even more anxious than when she was in a predicament. She was sure that the man standing nearby was Qin Feng, and she didn't know if she should be happy or sad to run into Qin Feng at this time. Elder Jimia, that bitch's wild man is over there! A Yuan Tseng sect disciple shouted. Two early-stage true spirit realm cultivators immediately rushed over on their flying swords, deeply afraid that Qin Feng would escape. Before they could clearly see what was going on, a loud noise came from nearby. The two cultivators who had just flown away exploded in the air like fireworks. When everyone blinked again, they couldn't even see their figures anymore. However, there was a bloodstain on the plain. Looking at it from several hundred meters away, it looked like flowers had bloomed all over the ground. A tall figure stepped on the bloodstain. His footsteps were steady and unhurried. It was as if he had just happened to walk there. Who are you, brat? How dare you kill my Yuan Tseng sect's disciple? Jimia roared. He didn't immediately make a move because he faintly sensed a dangerous aura. When the figure got closer and closer, tears streamed down Yuanchio's face like rain. She didn't know how Qin Fen had made it here, but when her fellow disciples had abandoned her, Qin Fen had unswervingly walked over. Just this action alone was enough to make Yuanchio weep with gratitude. Sister Yuanchio, I'm here. You'll be fine. When he reached Yuanchio's side, Qin Feng gently embraced her. He didn't have any other thoughts, but when he saw Yuanchio crying helplessly, a ripple appeared in his heart. A faint fragrance wafted out of Yuanchio's collar and floated into Qin Feng's nose. Their upper bodies were pressed together, and because Yuanchio's body shook as she sobbed, some of her supple parts rubbed against Qin Feng's chest, making him feel something. Brother Qiao Feng, hurry up and leave. You are no match for them. After crying for a while, Yuanchio suddenly came to her senses. She knew that Qin Feng's cultivation was only at the 7 changes Buddha aura, so how could he deal with Jimia and the others? Qin Feng didn't explain. He planned to use his actions to explain everything. Moreover, he couldn't leave even if he wanted to. Yuan Tseng's remaining 6 people had already surrounded the 2 of them. You want to run after killing Yuan Tseng's disciple? Do you think I don't exist? After observing Qin Feng from a close distance, Jimia heaved a sigh of relief. This brat's cultivation was only at true spirit realm 4. In his eyes, he was just an ant. Yuanchio realized that she and Qin Feng couldn't escape. At that moment, she had already forgotten to worry about what would happen to her next. Instead, she felt a strong sense of guilt. Qin Feng indifferently looked at the crowd. The highest cultivation was only at Void God Realm Level 1. As for the rest of the true Spirit Realm cultivators, he completely ignored them. He had just broken through from the Mountain of Life and wanted to find a few people to practice with. Now that a Void God Realm cultivator had jumped out to die, it was exactly what he wanted. Jisho is also from your Yuan Tseng sect, right? As expected, the stench is the same. I don't think there's anyone good in your entire Yuan Sung sect. Qin Feng's words stunned everyone. No one expected him to dare to be so arrogant. Yu Wanqiu's beautiful eyes widened as she looked at Qin Feng in disbelief. However, Yu Wanqiu quickly came to a realization. Qin Feng probably knew that he was going to die, so he might as well talk before he died. You're just a true Spirit Realm 4 ant, yet you dare to speak so arrogantly. Do you believe that I won't kill you with one slash? A peaked true Spirit Realm disciple shouted. Yu Wanqiu was shocked. Wasn't Qin Feng at Buddhist Light 7 changes? How did he suddenly become true Spirit Realm 4? She didn't dare to think that Qin Feng had used 10 days to break through from Buddhist Light 7 changes to true Spirit Realm 4. She thought that Qin Feng had hidden his cultivation the last time she saw him. However, true Spirit Realm 4 was just throwing his life away. Yu Wanqiu had already stepped into true Spirit Realm 7, but she didn't even have the thought of resisting. It looks like you're Yu Wanqiu's wild man. You two work together to kill Ji Shi. Great Destruction waved his hand and stopped the disciple next to him who was about to make a move. Don't be in a rush to kill him. This kind of ant can be killed with a wave of my hand. Let's take Yu Wanqiu in front of him and let him know the consequences of offending Yuan Sung. Great Destruction's suggestion made everyone very excited. They all revealed playful expressions as they looked at Yu Wanqiu's body. Yu Wanqiu retreated behind Qin Feng in fear and covered her chest with her hands. She was still pure right now, but a shy thought appeared in her mind. She wanted to give her body to Qin Feng before she was defiled and then commit suicide. That way, she wouldn't have reincarnated as a woman in vain. Truly a group of people who don't know life from death. A cold voice rang out. The voice was still echoing in the air when a golden light flashed by. The two middle-stage true Spirit Realm disciples were suddenly stunned. They still had a wretched smile on their faces, but their eyes were filled with fear. It was a very strange sight. Jikong, Jide, what's wrong? The late-stage true Spirit Realm disciple next to them noticed the abnormality. Just as he asked this, two loud explosions rang out, and Jikong and Jide were sent flying. Gasp! This scene made the remaining 4 people suck in a cold breath. Even Great Destruction had a look of shock in his eyes. They didn't know how Jikong and Jide died. Those 2 disciples were standing less than 10 meters away from them, but they had mysteriously exploded? Mobile users, please browse and read for a better reading experience. First, set a small goal. For example, remember in 1 second, Booksellers Mobile. Chapter 1875. What's going on? Who killed Jikong and Jide? The first cultivator who noticed the 2 of them were dead exclaimed. The other 2 disciples stared at each other, not knowing what was going on. However, Nirvana calmed down and looked at Qin Feng with cold killing intent in his eyes. You dare attack in front of this old man? Yuan Xing's 3 disciples that were still alive were dumbfounded. They didn't think that it was Qin Feng who had attacked. Wasn't this brat a true Spirit Realm 4? How could he instantly kill Jikong and Jide? One had to know that Jikong was in true Spirit Realm 5 and Jide was a true Spirit Realm 6 expert. Although it was hard to understand, they believed that Elder Nirvana would not be wrong. At the same time, they were a bit confused. According to Elder Nirvana's personality, he would have killed Qin Feng with 1 palm, so why hadn't he done anything yet? Swish! Qin Feng was too lazy to waste words with Nirvana. His answer was simple and violent. Another golden light flashed and Nirvana sensed it this time. Just as he gave a warning, a loud sound rang out. Uncle G, watch out! Bang! The disciple called Uncle G's body exploded and he didn't even understand what was going on before he died. This person was already in True Spirit Realm 8 and was a late True Spirit Realm expert, but he was still instantly killed by Qin Feng. With a wave of his hand, Qin Feng had killed 5 of Yuan Sung's disciples and they were all True Spirit Realm experts. This shocked everyone, even Qin Feng himself. Back when he was still in the Buddha Light 7 changes, he could already kill early and middle True Spirit Realm cultivators. Now that he was in the middle true spirit realm, he found that killing late true spirit realm cultivators was like killing chickens. Looking over, 2 of the remaining 3 people were peak true spirit realm cultivators while Nirvana was at Nihility God realm level 1. Qin Feng couldn't help but feel slightly disappointed. He felt that this battle wasn't challenging at all. If there was another Nihility God realm level 2 or level 3 cultivator, he might have felt some danger. Before he could attack again, the 2 peak true spirit realm cultivators came back to their senses and immediately attacked him. Both of them held long sabers, and with a wave of their hands, thousands of saber lights appeared in the air. Those saber lights were surging with power, as if they were about to condense into physical saber weapons, cutting the void into pieces. However, she saw that Qin Fen didn't dodge. He stood there like a fool. Seeing this, Yuan Qiu hurriedly shouted to remind him, but it was already too late. The fierce saber energy fell and hit the true essence shield around Qin Fen's body, making a loud crackling sound. The 2 cultivators at the peak of the true spirit realm were stunned for a moment before revealing looks of disdain. Humph! Who do you think you are? You're nothing more than this. Even if you're able to surmount realms and kill Ji Kong's junior brothers, you'll definitely die at our hands. The strength of these 2 people far surpassed the 5 disciples that Qin Fen had killed before. When they saw that Qin Fen didn't even have a chance to dodge under their fierce attacks, the 2 of them were extremely arrogant. One of them swung his saber again, and a fierce saber chi surged out. However, there was a loud sound of wind breaking, and this attack actually missed. The smiles on the 2's faces froze, and their eyes were wide open. Qin Fen, who had been hit by the saber chi a second ago, was now nowhere to be seen. Yuan Qiu didn't know where Qin Fen had gone. She only saw a flash of golden light, and Qin Fen had already disappeared. When she saw Qin Fen again, he had already flown behind the 2 cultivators at the peak of the true spirit realm and stabbed at them with a silver spear. Stab! 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 Suddenly, thousands of silver spear lights rose in the air, containing an extremely violent aura. This was the first time Qin Fen had used his true essence to attack with full force after breaking through to true spirit realm 4. As for killing Ji Kong and the others, it was just a casual move. When the Dragon Shock Spear was completely unleashed, the silver light burst out and pierced through the void. At the same time, Ji Ji and Ji He's bodies were also pierced. The 2 of them were at the peak of the true spirit realm, and it was only a matter of time before they reached the empty god realm. However, even such powerful cultivators were killed in one move by Qin Fen's full force. The spear lights came too quickly, and they didn't even have time to dodge before they died. Their eyes revealed the same horrified and incredulous expressions as their junior brothers who had died earlier. The opponent was only a true spirit realm 4 cultivator. How could he unleash such a fierce attack? Ji Ji and Ji He began to suspect that even if Elder Terminator attacked, he might not be able to kill this person. They couldn't verify this guess, and their bodies had already exploded into flesh and blood, scattering all over the ground. The spacious plain suddenly fell into silence, and the air was filled with the strong smell of blood and a strange aura. Terminator was the only cultivator left from the Yuan Sung sect, but he still hadn't made a move. He even had the thought of leaving at that moment. Even if he attacked, he couldn't kill 7 disciples as easily as Qin Fen. Yuan Qiu was stunned and couldn't come back to her senses for a long time. When she met Qin Fen was still at the Buddha Aura 7 changes. 10 days later, Qin Fen had already stepped into the true spirit realm 4. That wasn't all. Qin Fen actually killed Yuan Seng's disciples by himself, including a late true spirit realm and 2 true spirit realm experts. Qin Fen wasn't in a hurry to deal with Terminator. He was comprehending the power of the spear just now. Now that he had a clearer understanding of his own strength, he believed that with his current realm, he could kill an early empty god realm cultivator. If he returned to the North Sand region now, with his current strength, he could definitely stand among the top powerhouses, and even have the qualifications to fight against the mortal venerables. However, he also knew that it wasn't safe to go back now. Even if he could really fight against East Black Sea or Immeasurable Sea alone, there were still the Invincible Sect, the Soaring Dragon Chamber of Commerce, the Witchcraft Sect, and other 5-star sections. If the enemies joined forces, he would still suffer. As for Qin Fen being attacked by Ji Ji and Ji He, that was because he deliberately stood still. Not only did he want to feel his current attack power, but he also wanted to understand his own defense ability. When he used True Essence to protect his body, he could resist the fierce attack of a true Spirit Realm cultivator. If he used Thunder Shield to protect his body, he could probably resist the attack of an empty God Realm expert. Kid Xiao Feng, the 13 palaces only open once every 10 years, and it's only open for 3 months each time. I'm going to explore the higher level palaces now. Our grievances can be settled after we get out. Terminator, who had been silent for a long time, suddenly spoke. He was actually looking for a chance to slip away. At that moment, Yuanqio was extremely shocked. Qin Fen, who was at True Spirit Realm 4, actually scared away a virtual God Realm expert. It doesn't matter. Killing you will only take the time for half an incense stick to burn. It won't delay much. However, she heard that Qin Fen still had no intention of letting Terminator leave. Terminator was instantly furious. He admitted that he wanted to retreat, but he wasn't really afraid of Qin Fen. At the end of the day, Terminator was also at the virtual God Realm. In the South Flat State, there was almost no true Spirit Realm cultivator that could kill a virtual God Realm expert. Even if there was, it was very rare. Terminator just found it troublesome. He knew that he would definitely be able to kill Qin Fen in the end, but he would also be severely injured. Being injured in the 13 palaces was a very serious matter. Not only would he miss the opportunity to explore, but he might also be killed by other cultivators. Terminator thought that if he took a step back, Qin Fen would definitely be happy. In the end, this brat chased him relentlessly, completely infuriating Terminator. Rumble! It was Terminator's palm strike. A huge palm print appeared in the air and covered half the sky. It was like a moving mountain that was falling on Qin Fen's head. Yuanqio suddenly felt like she couldn't breathe. A feeling of death pressed down on her heart. She realized the difference between the virtual God Realm and the true Spirit Realm. Those below the virtual God Realm were all ants. It was said that after stepping into the virtual God Realm, not only could one create a clone, but some genius cultivators could also comprehend the existence of the realm. Yuanqio didn't know what the realm was. When she asked her master in the sect, her master always said that the realm could only be comprehended by oneself, and others couldn't say much. However, she was very clear about one thing. If Terminator had already comprehended the realm, or even just touched the tip of the iceberg, then she and Qin Fen would definitely die today. Rumble! Just as Yuanqio was letting her imagination run wild, Terminator's palm print landed and smashed into Qin Fen's body. The huge movement caused the ground to shake, and the ground under Qin Fen's feet cracked. The power of that palm was hard to estimate, but Yuanqio knew that she definitely couldn't withstand it. So, when she saw Qin Fen get hit by the palm print, her heart almost jumped out of her throat. Little brother Xiao Feng, are you okay? Qin Fen didn't reply. A mouthful of blood surged up, but he forcefully swallowed it back into his body. There was a lightning barrier around his body, but the lightning barrier cracked under the attack. However, it didn't completely shatter. Qin Fen was able to dodge that palm, but he deliberately took it with his body. He could clearly feel the changes in his body. Back when he was still at the 7 changes of Buddhist light, if he took the fierce attack of a first-stage Void God Realm cultivator head-on, he would definitely be sent flying and spit out a few mouthfuls of blood. The aura in his body would instantly become chaotic, and if it was serious, he might even temporarily lose the ability to fight. However, after taking Terminator's palm, he only took a step back and stabilized his body. Although the blood in his body was surging, he had already forcefully suppressed it. Aside from that, Qin Fen didn't even have a superficial wound. Why, you're actually okay? Terminator's old eyes were wide open, and the uneasiness in his heart intensified. Qin Fan put on a new lightning barrier and took out a magic treasure at the same time. It was a palm-sized cauldron, but it instantly grew bigger and hovered above Qin Fan's head. The cauldron was green and glowed with green light. For lifelike green dragon patterns were carved on it. This was originally the magic treasure of the Beijing sect's great elder, Bai Kuei, and now it was in Qin Fan's hands. One man and one cauldron, one hand holding a silver spear. Qin Fan was prepared for battle. Previously, he only wanted to feel the strength of his body, which was why he was hit. Now, he wanted to feel the strength of the attack. Seeing this, Terminator's heart trembled. He was a powerful Void God Realm expert, but he was actually forced into such a state by a true spirit cultivator. Just as he was hesitating about whether to escape, the silver spear light came like rain. Terminator's expression changed instantly. He had already tried his best not to underestimate Qin Fan, but he realized that he had still underestimated this fellow. Rumble! There was a loud explosion. The spear light missed, but it blasted a huge pit in the empty ground. At the bottom of the pit lay a figure that seemed like light and mist. It was Terminator's clone. Chapter 1876. A true spirit cultivator's spear had injured a Void God Master's clone. If the South Flat State cultivators saw this, their eyes would pop out of their sockets. Nirvana was instantly enraged. He no longer had any thoughts of escaping and only wanted to fight to the death with Qin Fan. The most important thing for a Void God Master was not their panaceas but their clones. Once their clones were injured, it would be very difficult to recover, and it would seriously affect their future breakthroughs. "You reckless grandson, I'll tear you to pieces today!" His roar echoed across the plain like a clap of thunder. Before Yu Wanqiu could remind Qin Fan to be careful, Nirvana's attack had already landed. This time, he slashed with a broad-backed broadsword. The body of the broadsword flickered with a cold light. Just looking at it made people shiver. When the broadsword light fell, countless cold lights instantly enlarged and enveloped Qin Fan's body. Qin Fan instantly frowned. He felt that the saber light had a binding effect, which made his movements slow down. Without much time to think, Qin Fan immediately stabbed out with his spear. The silver spear light filled the sky and collided with the saber energy in the air. Rumble! The two of them attacked with all their might, causing a huge commotion. Yu Wanqiu, who was standing hundreds of meters away, felt an extremely oppressive aura surging over, forcing her to take dozens of steps back. The spear light blocked a large portion of the saber light, and some of the saber energy was blocked by the green dragon cauldron's shadow. This defensive cauldron was a low-grade true spirit treasure. When it spun, it released a green cauldron shadow, which had a very powerful defensive effect. Qin Fan was not injured at all by the saber, which shocked Nirvana. He stared at the silver spear in Qin Fan's hand and the green cauldron spinning above his head, and almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Both of these treasures were true treasures. Even though the South Flat State was rich in resources, true treasures were rare. Nirvana was one of Yuansang's great elders, but he only managed to collect a true treasure-long saber after working for 100 years. Yet Qin Fan, who looked to be in his 50s, casually took out true treasures. However, the anger in Nirvana's eyes quickly turned into greed. He stared at the green dragon cauldron and the dragon quake spear, and he already considered these two true spirit treasures as his own. "A trifling middle-stage true spirit cultivator, no wonder you can kill my sect's late-stage true spirit and peak true spirit disciples, so you have a true weapon. Today, this old man will kill you, take away all your treasures, and even take away your woman," Nirvana roared. Right now, he could only roar to vent his dissatisfaction. However, Qin Fan said with disdain, "You want to steal my treasure? You're not strong enough. But don't worry, I don't care about that broadsword of yours. After I kill you, I'll auction it off or give it away. I won't use it myself." Nirvana was almost angered to death. He finally realized that his glib tongue wasn't even 1/10 as good as Qin Fan's. Yu Wanqiu blushed. Qin Fan's words, "You want to steal my treasure. had a deep meaning. Yuanqiu didn't know whether the treasure he was talking about was the true weapon or herself, or both. Web debut Yuanqiu immediately shook her head and cast aside these messy thoughts. She didn't know what was wrong with her. She didn't have any feelings for male cultivators before, but now she was thinking about this kind of thing in such a critical situation. There were explosions in the distance as Qin Feng and Nirvana fought again. After fighting for a while, Qin Feng could clearly feel his current cultivation. With the strength of his true essence, he could actually match up to a Nihility God Stage Level 1 cultivator. If he used all kinds of true weapons and high-level martial skills, killing a Nihility God Stage Level 1 cultivator would be a piece of cake. The reason Nirvana hadn't died yet was because Qin Feng had purposely preserved his strength. He was using this old man to practice, but Nirvana clearly didn't know. After another hard clash, Qin Feng retreated unharmed. Nirvana was beaten until he lost his temper. He angrily glared at him and shouted, "Humph! You can't kill me even with so many true weapons. What trash!" Qin Feng chuckled and said, "Are you in such a hurry to die? How about I fulfill your wish?" Nirvana admitted that it would be difficult for him to kill Qin Feng. This brat was clearly a true spirit realm cultivator, but his true essence was shockingly powerful. He even suspected that even the few 7-star sects in the South Flat Continent didn't have such a genius disciple. However, Nirvana also realized that Qin Feng couldn't kill him. After all, there was a difference in cultivation levels. Moreover, there were almost no true spirit realm cultivators killing hollow gods in the South Flat Continent. Even if there were, it would be a rare few in the entire continent. Haha. Even if I stand here and let you kill me, how can you kill me? Nirvana said and really stopped attacking. He crossed his arms in front of his chest and looked at Qin Feng with a playful expression. At this moment, Yuanqiu finally heaved a sigh of relief. She didn't even think that Qin Feng could kill Nirvana. She was already thankful that Nirvana couldn't kill Qin Feng. "Brother Qiao Feng, let's go!" Yuanqiu shouted. However, just as she finished speaking, Qin Feng disappeared in a golden light. When he reappeared, he was already hovering above Nirvana's head. The silver spear in Qin Feng's hand had turned into a wide long saber. The blade was black and seemed to have the ability to devour, sucking in the surrounding light. The instant confinement appeared, Nirvana's expression changed. He realized that it was another true artifact treasure saber. Moreover, it was of a higher level than the silver spear Qin Feng used before. It was at least a high-grade true artifact. Confinement was a supreme-grade true artifact that was infinitely close to an immortal artifact. When the long saber fell, the space shook and waves of strange energy rippled. It was as though the surrounding magnetic field had changed. At this moment, with Qin Feng as the center, the surrounding time stopped. Even the flow of air stopped. The energy ripples spread extremely quickly. Back when Qin Feng was still in the 7 changes of Buddha aura, he could only stop time within a 500-meter radius with confinement. Now that he was in true spirit realm 4, he realized that everything within a 10-mile radius seemed to have entered another space. Realm? You actually comprehended realm? This was the second time Qin Feng had encountered a situation where he couldn't confine an enemy. The last time was when he killed the North Star sect leader Bai Xiaofeng. Bai Xiaofeng had the same shocked expression as Nirvana and said the same thing. However, although Bai Xiaofeng and Nirvana could speak, their bodies seemed to be affected by the confinement. They could only stand in the distance and be unable to move. When Qin Feng heard the word realm again, countless white lights suddenly flashed in his mind. The Heart Sutra of Creation unknowingly began to circulate automatically. He seemed to have a hazy understanding of the realm, and this understanding was born from the confinement strike. When he stepped into true spirit realm 4, the power of the confinement increased. Not only did the range of the attack increase, but the time he could freeze space also increased. Qin Feng suddenly felt that in this realm, he was the master. Even if a hollow god realm cultivator stepped into this realm, they could only be killed by him. Realm? Formed realm. Anyone who enters will die. Qin Feng muttered to himself. The white lights flashing in his mind gradually became clearer. Although the countless pieces of information didn't form a complete picture, he knew that he had entered the threshold of realm. Rumble! When the dominating aura surged in his heart, Qin Feng swung his saber without hesitation. The ferocious saber-chi struck Nirvana with the momentum of a dragon emerging from the sea. The latter didn't even have a chance to dodge. After a loud noise, his body bloomed like fireworks. Rumble! Qin Feng's last attack was too fierce, and the aftermath of the explosion lasted for a long time. The duration of the confinement increased by more than double. After a full minute, the white light that enveloped a radius of 5 kilometers suddenly disappeared. Little brother Qiao Feng, are you okay? Yu Wanqiu rushed over immediately. She felt dizzy and couldn't remember what had just happened. But before Qin Feng could answer, she saw Nirvana, who had died tragically on the ground. Although she couldn't identify him from the flesh and blood all over the ground, the broadsword on the ground was the weapon Nirvana had used before. Nirvana is dead? Yu Wanqiu looked incredulous. Qin Feng landed on the ground motionlessly after the last strike. He was still comprehending the elegance of that strike and the mystery of realm. When he opened his eyes again, he immediately put away Nirvana's storage ring and broadsword. He grabbed Yu Wanqiu's hand and quickly left. When Yu Wanqiu asked why, he didn't have time to explain. Less than half an hour after the two of them left, 5 cultivators arrived. The one with the lowest cultivation was at the void spirit state middle stage, while the one with the highest cultivation was at the body condensation state. Realm appeared here? The void spirit state middle stage man frowned. The body condensation state cultivator's eyes were filled with shock as he said, It's realm without a doubt, and its comprehension has already reached small success. It formed a realm with a radius of 5 kilometers. Even if I'm at the body condensation state early stage, this is the best I can do. The expressions of the remaining people changed. They could all feel the remnant aura in the air. This should be the aura left behind by an early stage nihility god stage cultivator and a middle stage true spirit stage cultivator. If the early stage nihility god stage cultivator had already comprehended the realm to the small success stage, this was definitely something unimaginable. Let's go and see which void spirit state cultivator has such outstanding comprehension. He must be at least from a 6-star sect, or even one of the few 7-star sections. These people subconsciously thought that Nirvana, who was at the void spirit state early stage, had comprehended realm. They didn't dare to imagine that it was Qin Feng, who was at the true spirit realm, who had comprehended realm. If this news spread in the South Flat State, even the few 7-star sects would be alarmed. At this moment, Qin Feng had flown hundreds of kilometers away with Yu Wanqiu. In order to not be caught, he took out the flying cloud all. His speed was so fast that Yu Wanqiu couldn't believe it. Brother Qiao Feng, what kind of flying device is this? How can it be so fast? Sister Wanqiu, this is a true artifact flying device. Of course it's fast. Actually, the flying cloud all was a product of Star Saint technology, so it couldn't be classified by the Divine Supreme Continent's flying devices. However, Qin Feng realized that the flying cloud all's speed was about the same as a high-grade true artifact flying ship. Chapter 1877. Yu Wanqiu was shocked to learn that the flying ship they were on was a true artifact magic treasure. She was suddenly very curious about Qin Feng's identity. She didn't know which big sect Qin Feng was from, but the items he had on him were all true artifacts. His realm had also risen very quickly, and he had even killed a void god stage powerhouse at the middle stage of the true spirit realm. Along the way, Yu Wanqiu kept thinking about how Nirvana had been killed, but she couldn't remember what had happened. It was as if that memory had disappeared. Little brother Qiao Feng, are you in a hurry to go somewhere? Yu Wanqiu didn't want to think about it anymore and started talking about other topics. Qin Feng looked around and was relieved when he confirmed that no one was chasing them. He didn't know that his realm had reached small success, but he realized that the realm was very powerful. Otherwise, the two Void God stage cultivators, by Xiaofeng and Nirvana, wouldn't be so shocked. Qin Fen had learned his lesson from breaking through the thunder tribulation in the northern sand continent, so he was more cautious this time. He realized that someone would come to ask him, so he immediately left with Yuanqiu. However, he couldn't explain this matter, so he just said, "By the way, Sister Wanqiu, why are you still on the 0th floor even though you've been here for more than 10 days? Yuanqiu looked at Qin Fen strangely. "Little brother Qiao Feng, this isn't the 0th floor. This is the 4th palace." Qin Fen was shocked. "Huh? This is the 4th palace? So the Mountain of Life's array teleports directly to the 4th palace. Little brother Qiao Feng, what are you talking about?" Yuanqiu was confused. Qin Fen immediately shut up. He didn't plan on telling Yuanqiu about the Mountain of Life. It wasn't that he didn't trust this woman, but that this matter involved too many people. If the news leaked out, the Xinquan sect and the ancient cauldron sects Hongfei would cause trouble for him. "Sister Wanqiu, is there anything special about the 4th palace?" Qin Fen changed the topic. However, Qin Fen had observed along the way. The 4th palace only had level 3 and level 4 spirit herbs and low-level spirit beasts, so it didn't attract Qin Fen's interest. Yuanqiu said, "The first few floors of the 13 palaces are very ordinary. The number of floors represents the level of the spirit herbs, spirit beasts, and materials in the palace. For example, this is a 4-floored palace. Most of the things here are LV4 spiritual herbs and beasts. There are also LV4 blacksmithing materials and formation materials." Qin Fen finally understood. He immediately thought of going to a higher palace. If what Yuanqiu said was true, then wouldn't the 9th palace be filled with level 9 spirit herbs and materials? What kind of treasures would appear in the 10th palace? Could it be immortal herbs and immortal beasts? At the same time, Qin Feng thought of what Haiyuele had said. The danger level increases with every level. It is said that the South Flat Continent has existed for tens of thousands of years, but the number of cultivators who can enter the 13th level can be counted on one's fingers. As long as one can enter the 9th level, he or she would be considered a true elite and would benefit greatly. No wonder the 9th palace was used as the location. Qin Fen suddenly understood the reason behind it. In fact, Yuanqiu didn't need him to say much. She also wanted to go to a higher level palace as soon as possible. However, after talking for a while, Qin Fen realized that one couldn't go to a higher level palace just because one wanted to. One had to first find a teleportation array, and the teleportation array on each floor was hidden and not fixed. Either a formation master could find it, or it depended on a cultivator's luck. Qin Fen started to rejoice that he was a LV5 spirit formation master. He set up a LV5 concealment array on the Flying Cloud All and activated the Flying Cloud All's concealment function at the same time. He began to drive the Flying Cloud All while looking for the teleportation array to the 5th palace. The 4th palace was much bigger than Qin Fen had imagined. After flying for a day and a night, he hadn't even covered half of the palace. Qin Fen realized that finding the array was not an easy task. He suddenly looked at Yuanqiu, who was cultivating quietly. "Sister Wanqiu, didn't you eat the spirit cleansing pill I gave you? There are too many pill toxins in your body. It will affect your cultivation." Qin Fen checked Yuanqiu's aura. Yuanqiu opened her eyes and said shyly, "Brother Qiao Feng, the spirit cleansing pill is too precious for me. I don't dare to eat it casually. Moreover, I haven't obtained a void advancement pill yet. I plan to obtain a void advancement pill and reach the peak of the true spirit realm before eating the spirit cleansing pill to try to break through the void." Qin Fen understood Yuanqiu's thoughts. In fact, she wasn't the only one. 90% of the cultivators in the Divine Continent had the same thoughts. Most cultivators weren't alchemists, and they wouldn't become a LV4 elixir king at such a young age like Qin Fen. The pills they needed to break through had to be bought or obtained from the sect. How could they be as carefree as Qin Fen, who ate pills like they were bubble gum? After understanding Yuanqiu's concerns, Qin Fen took out 3 jade bottles and handed them over. Yu Wanqiu opened the jade bottles doubtfully and was immediately dumbfounded. Spirit cleansing pill? Void advancement pill? She only recognized 2 of the bottles. As for the light yellow pill in the 3rd bottle, she had never seen it before. Even so, she was already shocked to the extreme. Qin Fen smiled and said, Sister Wanqiu, take these pills to break through. I believe that with the help of the spirit cleansing pill and the void advancement pill, you can smoothly step into the empty spirit realm. As for the last bottle, it's the fragrant consciousness pill. It can repair the sea of consciousness. Repair the sea of consciousness? Yu Wanqiu was already stunned by Qin Fen taking out the void advancement pills, but when she heard about the effects of the last bottle of pills, she jumped in shock. That's right. It's to repair the sea of consciousness. I can see that Sister Wanqiu's sea of consciousness has some old injuries. If it's repaired, your cultivation will greatly increase. Qin Fen originally didn't plan on taking out the fragrant consciousness pill because there were no pills that could repair the sea of consciousness in the northern sand continent. As for whether there were any in the southern sand continent, he wasn't sure. He was afraid that if the news of the fragrant consciousness pill spread, it would cause a sensation in the northern sand continent like when the spirit surge pill had appeared. Given his current strength, he was far from being able to protect himself in the southern sand continent. Once the news of the fragrant consciousness pill leaked, he could only escape back to the northern sand continent. However, after seeing that Yu Wanqiu's sea of consciousness had been injured, Qin Fen finally took out the pill. He trusted Yu Wanqiu very much. This woman would help him keep his secret. This is also a pill that you refined? Brother Qiao Feng, don't tell anyone else about this bottle of fragrant consciousness pill. Otherwise, you will get into trouble. As far as I know, there are no pills that can repair the sea of consciousness in the entire southern sand continent. I will definitely help you keep your secret. There was no need for Qin Fen to say anything. Yu Wanqiu started to worry for him. Qin Fen felt a surge of warmth in his heart. He knew that he hadn't misjudged him. Sister Wanqiu, don't worry. I understand these principles. Qin Fen's face was solemn. Yu Wanqiu immediately understood. With Qin Fen's calm personality, he naturally wouldn't do such a reckless thing. The reason why he took out the fragrant consciousness pill was because he trusted her completely. It felt good to be trusted by someone. For a moment, Yu Wanqiu had the urge to cry. She and Qin Fen had known each other for less than half a month and had only met twice. However, when her fellow disciples in the sect abandoned her, it was this little man she had just met who stepped forward bravely. Brother Qiao Feng, thank you. I don't even know how to repay you. Yu Wanqiu's pretty face was slightly red, and a hint of flirtatiousness flashed in her clear eyes. These emotions weren't an act. She truly felt that she owed Qin Fen too much. However, at that moment, Qin Fen instinctively thought of the classical Chinese saying, "A debt of love must be repaid with the flesh." Thus, he subconsciously glanced at Yu Wanqiu's perky chest, and a nefarious fire rose in his belly. Sister Wanqiu, you don't have to be so polite. Just focus on breaking through. Take these spirit crystals and use them. If you don't have enough, I still have more. Qin Fen quickly suppressed the flames and took out 10 spirit crystals. He had obtained these spirit crystals from the spirit quintessence pool on the Life Mountain. After using them up for his breakthrough last time, he still had nearly 1,000 spirit crystals left. When Yu Wanqiu saw the spirit crystals, she was shocked once again. She knew about spirit crystals, but this was her first time seeing them with her own eyes. Yu Wanqiu couldn't imagine what kind of powerful background Qin Fen had. She even thought that even the few 7-star sects in the South Flat Continent didn't have such a wealthy disciple. The spirit calming pill was used by late-stage true spirit cultivators to break through. It was a level 5, level 7 pill king. Qin Fen was only a level 4, level 7 pill king, so he couldn't refine this kind of pill yet. He had obtained this bottle of spirit calming pill from the storage ring of void destruction, who he had killed not long ago. Although there was only one bottle, Qin Fen didn't care and gave it all to Yu Wanqiu. He believed that once he reached the late-stage true spirit, his alchemy skills would have broken through to level 5, level 7 Pill King. At that time, he would be able to refine spirit-calming pills at any time. As for the void-breaking pill, it was one of the most difficult pills to refine among level 5, level 7 Pill Kings. Qin Fan's void-breaking pill had been given to him by Taoist Barefoot. Taoist Barefoot had not only given him the void-breaking pill, but he had also given him a bottle of Immortal Buddha pills and a bottle of Void Transformation pills. When he thought of Taoist Barefoot, Qin Fan thought of the incomparable battle in the North Sand Continent, as well as the death of City Lord Ouyang Jun and many of his good friends. His heart immediately burned with rage, and he couldn't wait to kill his way back and take revenge. After Yuanqio's emotions gradually stabilized, she began to enter a state of cultivation. She was so grateful to Qin Fan that she couldn't even think of how to repay him. When the medicinal effects of the fragrant consciousness pill and the spirit cleansing pill took effect, Yuanqio felt her sea of knowledge quickly recover. The range of her divine sense also increased, which was a wonderful feeling. There was also a lot of elixir poison in her body. After some of the poison was expelled from her body, it formed mud-like filth on her skin. Yuanqio seemed to dislike the sticky feeling, so she took off her clothes and used a clear water art from time to time to wash her body. She had completely forgotten about Qin Fan's existence. When that wonderful body was revealed without any cover, Qin Fan's eyes widened, and he couldn't help but stare at it. Yuanqio's figure was perfect. There wasn't a trace of excess fat on her body. Because of her cultivation, her entire body exuded spiritual qi, as if she was a fairy that had descended to the mortal world. Chapter 1878. You broke through? I actually broke through. After cultivating for less than a day, she had successfully broken through to true Spirit Realm 8. Even if it was something that had really happened to her, Yuanqio still could not accept it. She thought that if she hadn't met Qin Feng, it would have taken her at least half a year to break through at a normal speed. Moreover, she would have needed the help of a spirit-tempering pill and enough spirit stones to break through. However, the spirit-tempering pill was already a level 7 king pill. It would have been very difficult for Yuanqio to obtain it with her connections. Now, she even had a void-breaching pill. She had also used a fragrant sense pill to repair her divine sense C, and she had taken a pure panacea to expel the pill toxins in her body. Now that she had successfully broken through, her body felt as if it had been liberated, and the pleasure she felt was indescribable. Little brother Qiao Feng, what are you looking at? Yuanqio calmed down from her surprise. She realized that Qin Feng didn't congratulate her after she broke through. Instead, he was staring at her with a strange expression. When Yuanqio followed Qin Feng's gaze and looked at her chest, she immediately blushed. What's going on? I forgot you were still here. Yuanqio discovered that she was completely naked. She quickly remembered that she had taken off her clothes when she was dispelling the poison. She realized that Qin Feng must have stared at her body for a while, but she did not feel disgusted. Instead, she sighed at Qin Feng's strong willpower. Even under such circumstances, he did not lose control of himself. Yuanqio was very confident in her looks. She was rated as the #1 beauty of the Tianhu sect, and because of her beauty, she was somewhat famous in the South Pingzhou continent. At this moment, she actually felt a trace of disappointment. Could it be that brother Qiao Feng didn't like her? However, this trace of disappointment quickly disappeared and was replaced by endless shock. When Yuanqio looked at the spirit crystals under her feet, she saw that she had already used up 20 spirit crystals. She had also set up a level 5 spirit gathering array in the cabin. The spirit gathering array absorbed the spirit chi inside the spirit crystals, forming a small spirit chi vortex above her head. No wonder she had broken through so quickly and smoothly. This realm was completely achieved by using resources. Yuanqio's talent was not considered very good in the Tianhu sect, so her treatment was average. She had never experienced the treatment of using cultivation resources to improve her realm. Now that she had experienced it, she was fascinated. Little brother Qiao Feng, did you arrange this spirit gathering array? You took out another 10 spirit crystals? Yu Wanqiu looked at Qin Feng gratefully. She even forgot to put on her clothes and let Qin Feng's gaze move all over her body. Qin Feng suddenly came back to his senses. He awkwardly looked away and said, "Congratulations to Sister Wanqiu for reaching true Spirit Realm 8. I believe that in less than 3 months, you'll be able to step into Hollow God Realm." Qin Feng's estimate of 3 months was a conservative estimate. If Yu Wanqiu stayed by his side, he had a way to help this woman become a void god in half a month. Although he did not directly admit that there was a level 5 spirit gathering formation, Yu Wanqiu immediately understood with her intelligence. For a moment, she was completely shocked. Who exactly was this brother Qiao Feng? He was able to kill a virtual god at such a young age, and he was also an elixir king and a level 5 spiritual array master. Even the 7-star sects of the South Flat Continent would find it hard to produce such a peerless genius. Big Sister Wanqiu, do you want to put on some clothes first?" Qin Feng suddenly asked. Yu Wanqiu was so embarrassed that her body was about to burst into flames. She never thought that there would be a day when a man would remind her to put on clothes. Her previous dress was covered in dirt. Yu Wanqiu took out a light purple dress from her storage ring and put it on. This was her favorite set of spiritual armor, and it made her look elegant and moving. Yu Wanqiu did not understand why she was wearing this dress at this time. The atmosphere in the flying cloud all became awkward. Yu Wanqiu was hiding something in her heart. She thought highly of Qin Feng's gentlemanly behavior, but she also felt inexplicably disappointed. After experiencing a narrow escape from death not long ago, Yu Wanqiu suddenly had a bold idea. She had lived for so long and only focused on cultivation, so she did not know what it was like to do things between a man and a woman. She wanted to try it out with Qin Feng. If Qin Feng had taken the initiative to do something, Yu Wanqiu felt that she would not have rejected him. Just as she was lost in her thoughts, the cabin shook, and she immediately woke up. "Huh! Little brother Qiao Feng, why did you stop?" Yu Wanqiu noticed that the flying cloud all had landed, and there was a group of cultivators less than 500 meters away from the flying ship. There were a few powerful auras among those cultivators, and even Yu Wanqiu, who had just broken through, felt suppressed. There were no rules in the 13 palaces. Ordinary cultivators would avoid people as much as possible to avoid accidents. However, Qin Feng had actually placed the soaring cloud all in the path of that group of cultivators. Yu Wanqiu couldn't understand why. "Big Sister Wanqiu, stay on the flying cloud all and don't come down. I'll go take care of those bastards." Without waiting for Yu Wanqiu's reply, Qin Feng had already jumped off the flying ship. It turned out that he had seen a few cultivators from God's finger. It was really a small world for enemies. "Huh! Elder Mou, there are people blocking the way." Shin Shuhin's brows furrowed. In the 13 palaces, his cultivation at the peak of the true spirit realm was only considered below average. During these days of treasure hunting, God's finger cultivators had been very careful. The other disciples immediately revealed vigilant expressions. Shin Mou used his divine sense to quickly scan the area. He immediately saw Qin Feng walking over with large strides, and his expression changed unpredictably. "Ha! I was just worried about not being able to find this brat. I didn't expect him to come here to die." Shin Mou suddenly laughed. At this moment, the other disciples also saw Qin Feng. They all had different expressions. They could not understand why this guy dared to come looking for them. Could it be that he was tired of living? "Elder Mou, be careful. That brat seems to be tricking us," Shin Shuhin warned. Shin Mou still had a smile on his face. He had already used his divine sense to scan the area within a radius of a few thousand meters. There were no other cultivators nearby, only the ship behind Qin Feng, and there was only one aura on the ship, which was only at the level 8 true spirit. While everyone was thinking, Qin Feng had already landed on his flying sword. He was less than 20 meters away from the crowd. Shin Shuhin's eyes suddenly widened. He pointed at Qin Feng as if he had seen a ghost and shouted, You brat, broke through to true spirit realm 4? How is that possible? When he shouted like this, the others also noticed that something was amiss. 10 days ago, when he had just entered the 13th Palace's level 0, Qin Feng was still at the Buddha Light 7 changes. At that time, he had killed the sect leader's only son, Shenwu Xing. In the blink of an eye, how did he step into the true spirit middle stage? Only Shenmou remained calm as he coldly said, "Humph! This brat was originally at true spirit realm 4, he had been hiding his strength a few days ago, otherwise how could he have killed young Master Wu Xing in one move? Now that he has come at the right time, as long as we capture him alive, I believe that the sect leader will not blame us." Chapter 1880. After blocking the rainbow lights, Qin Feng flicked his finger again. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. This time, the wind whistled through the air. Shenmou's eyes were filled with shock. He finally realized that Qin Feng had secretly learned the God's Finger's top-notch sword technique, 8-pulse godly sword. Moreover, this brat had created a new sword technique that allowed the 8-pulse godly sword to be invisible. Rumble! He slapped out and blocked Qin Feng's sword rainbow. Although he was unharmed, Shenmou's expression was extremely serious. He couldn't understand how Qin Feng could learn 8-pulse legendary sword in such a short time, and even create a new sword technique. He even suspected that this brat had learned 8-pulse legendary sword long ago. However, this thought was quickly denied by Shenmou. One had to know that 8-pulse legendary sword was a top sword technique that God's Finger didn't teach to outsiders. Even inner sect disciples couldn't learn it. Only core disciples or elders had the right to learn it. However, the truth was right in front of him. God's Finger couldn't avoid it. He coldly asked Qin Feng, "Where did you learn 8-pulse legendary sword?" Qin Feng smiled. "Where else can I learn it from? Of course, I learned it from you. Don't stop. Show me a few more moves so I can learn more." Shenmou was furious. He realized that Qin Feng wasn't just strong, he was also good with words. "Do you think I'm an idiot? The 8-pulse divine sword is the top sword skill of my sect. Even for a genius cultivator like me, to be able to reach this level of sword skill, I have to painstakingly study it for more than 50 years. You and I have only fought for the time it takes for 2 incense sticks to burn. How could you possibly learn this sword skill? Without learning the fortune of heaven and earth art, one couldn't understand Qin Feng's powerful comprehension ability. Qin Feng knew that there was no point in explaining this. Sometimes, even he didn't dare to accept it. That only means that your talent is too poor. 50 years of learning isn't as effective as 5 minutes of learning from me. Even someone like you can become the great elder of God's Finger. Is your sect about to close down? Ayaya! God's Finger is one of the few 5-star sects around Panshan City. Even in the entire South Pingzhou, it's not a small sect. How could it close down? You dare to be so arrogant after learning a little? If I don't kill you today, I'll change my surname to yours." Qin Feng jumped in fright. "Don't take my surname, it's too embarrassing." "You!" Shenmou was so angry that his entire body trembled. He decided not to waste any more words with Qin Feng. He would take this person's head and bring it back to the sect leader of God One Finger to ask for forgiveness. In his rage, Shenmou didn't hold back at all. Both of his hands changed forms as he attacked. Immediately, hundreds of rainbow-colored lights appeared in the sky. Those rainbow-colored lights were all as thick as a person's waist. They traversed the sky and formed a marvelous scene. The scenery was very beautiful. It was as if someone had split the sunset into several pieces. However, Yuanqiu, who was hiding inside the flying cloud all, was not in the mood to appreciate it at all. A layer of cold sweat formed on her palms as she prayed for Qin Feng in her heart. "This is the highest level of the 8-pulse divine sword that you have comprehended. It is indeed quite powerful." When he saw the rainbow that filled the sky, Qin Feng's eyes lit up. This action made God Mou so angry that he almost died. The azure dragon cauldron above his head spun rapidly. The overlapping cauldron shadows blocked Qin Feng's periphery layer after layer. However, this time, the rainbow-colored lights were extremely powerful. When they collided with the cauldron shadows, they easily passed through as if they were cutting through tofu. Seeing that the sword rainbow-colored lights had all gathered in front of him, Qin Feng finally realized the danger. He stopped comprehending the martial arts that he had secretly learned and immediately slashed at the void. It was a long, black, and domineering broadsword. It seemed to have the ability to devour, causing the surrounding light to dim. When the long broadsword slashed down, the air trembled. A strange energy rippled out and instantly enveloped a 10-mile radius. Within the 10-mile radius, the air froze and time stopped. The sword rainbow-colored lights that filled the sky quickly stopped. A few sharp sword lights were already hovering at the tip of Qin Feng's nose. However, after the confinement strike was formed, the rainbow-colored lights seemed to be frozen and could no longer move. Whoosh! A golden light appeared under Qin Feng's feet. He shuttled through the sky full of rainbow-colored lights and quickly arrived next to Shinemoyu. Shinemoyu's consciousness had not disappeared. His eyes were filled with shock and astonishment, but his body could not move. It was the same as Elder Destruction, who had been killed by Qin Feng with the confinement strike not long ago. What is this? Shinemoyu's voice was trembling. Actually, the moment he saw the confinement strike, he thought of a possibility, but he could not accept this reality. It is what you are thinking. Qin Feng's tone was cold. Shinemoyu even forgot that he was in danger. He looked at Qin Feng as if he had seen a ghost and said, What realm are you in? Just as you can see, a true spirit realm for cultivator. Then how can you understand the existence of the realm? Isn't this a realm that only empty god realm cultivators can touch? I said your talent is too poor. You can't compare to me. The path of cultivation is ever-changing and there are no absolute rules. It's just that in the past, there has never been a true spirit realm cultivator who understood the realm, but it doesn't mean that a true spirit realm cultivator can't understand the realm, and I have done it. Qin Feng's words were very profound. It was like the life maxim of a peerless cultivator. Shinemoyu realized that he had no power to refute. At that moment, he even started to agree with Qin Feng's words. Who said that a true spirit realm cultivator could not kill an empty god realm? Couldn't understand the existence of the realm? That had never happened in the past in the Divine Continent. Now that it had happened, who was this young man in front of him? If he was allowed to develop like this, he would probably become the second great Tao ultimate god, right? Spare my life and we'll settle our grievances. I won't tell God one finger about it. How about that? Before this, Shinemoyu would never have thought that he would one day plead with a true spirit realm cultivator. Do you think that's possible? In the end, his pleading failed. As Qin Feng finished speaking, he stretched out his fingers. Instantly, dozens of sword rainbows shot out and dyed the sky red. Before he died, Shinemoyu's eyes were wide open. He suddenly believed that Qin Feng had never learned the 8-pulse divine sword before. This guy really learned it secretly at the last minute. He actually learned it secretly? Learned it secretly at the last minute? Even when he died, Shinemoyu could not accept this fact. However, this was not important. He had already received the news from the Divine Continent. When Qin Feng re-entered the Flying Cloud Auger, a softness fell into his arms and Yuanqio's fragrance entered his nose. Little brother Qiao Feng, are you okay? I was so worried. Yuanqio hugged Qin Feng tightly and refused to let go. Qin Feng felt the softness and immediately felt very awkward. He could only pretend that nothing had happened. He gently patted Yuanqio's back and said, Don't worry, big sister Yuanqio. What could possibly happen to me? I killed Silent Destruction not long ago, and those guys just now were not that strong. I've already killed them all. Yuanqio let out a long sigh of relief. Although Qin Feng said it lightly, she knew that there was an empty god in the crowd just now, and his aura was even stronger than Silent Destruction's. You killed God's fingers, people? Yuanqio recognized Shinemoyu's clothes. The god's fingers symbol was engraved on his chest. Qin Feng did not hide it. That's right. Those people were God's finger's people. I had some conflicts with them. When I was teleported to the 13th Palace's 0th floor, they wanted to kill me. Now I've taken revenge. Yuanqiu did not care about the grudge between Qin Feng and God's finger. Even if Qin Feng was in the wrong first, Yuanqiu would still stand on his side. However, when she thought about how Qin Feng had killed Elder Yuan Tsang and God's finger, Yuanqiu was very worried. They were all 5-star sects on the Divine Continent. Big Sister Wanqiu, you don't have to worry about me. It's best if those 5-star sects don't provoke me. If they really provoke me, I'll just destroy their entire sect. Qin Feng could see through Yuanqiu's concerns. Destroy a 5-star sect? Not many people in the South Flat Continent would dare to say such arrogant words, but Yuanqiu believed Qin Feng's words. Although she had not known Qin Feng for long, he had surprised her time and time again. She gradually felt that Qin Feng was omnipotent. After gradually calming down, Yuanqiu realized her ambiguous actions with Qin Feng. She immediately ran back to her room shyly, her heart beating like a little deer. Then, she thought about Shen Moyu's death, but she couldn't remember how Shen Moyu was killed. It was as if she had temporary amnesia again, which made Yuanqiu even more confused. Ding! Congratulations to host Qin Feng for creating the Shadowless Divine Sword Martial Technique. The system rewards host Qin Feng 300,000 hedonist points and 1 moon fragment stone. Host Qin Feng's total hedonist points, 729,000. The system's notification sounded. This was the quest that Man had issued a long time ago. Collect supreme cultivation methods and martial arts techniques. Qin Feng had secretly learned the 8-pulse godly sword and combined it with the shadowless sword to create his own shadowless godly sword. Qin Feng checked the moon fragment stone. This was the first time he had seen this palm-sized stone. It was uneven, and the material was very special. It seemed like jade, but not jade. According to the system's introduction, this was a rank 6 refining material. When he found out that this stone was a refining material, Qin Feng suddenly thought of something. When he opened the Heaven Rainbow interface, he discovered that the rank 6 material, Moon Fragment Stone, was one of the main materials to create the Heaven Rainbow. Qin Feng greatly yearned for the celestial artifact Heaven Rainbow. His supreme-grade true artifact, Imprisonment, was already so powerful. He believed that once the Heaven Rainbow was created, its power would be even more ferocious. However, he only had the Moon Fragment Stone as a material. He didn't know when he would be able to create the Heaven Rainbow. After collecting his thoughts, Qin Feng went into seclusion. He had comprehended the 8-pulse divine sword not long ago, so there were some things he needed to stabilize. Little brother Qiao Feng, there are many people gathered there. It's very likely that it's the entrance to the 5th floor of the palace. After an unknown amount of time, Yuanqiu's surprised shout traveled into his ears. Chapter 1881. At the foot of a green mountain, there were about 100 cultivators gathered. These cultivators were of different realms, but most of them were experts in the true spirit realm. As for the Buddhalite cultivators, there were very few of them, and there were even some empty gods among them. Sui Mengxiao. La Qingfen and Yuanqiu's arrival did not attract the attention of the crowd. The two of them were only true spirit cultivators, and their strength was considered average among the crowd. This must be the magic array that leads to the 5th palace hall. Judging by the strength of the magic array, it should be disappearing soon. The magic array can only allow 5 people to pass through at a time. Everyone, hurry up and line up. A man in green with long hair was shouting in the crowd. After he expressed his opinion, the noisy crowd immediately quietened down and began to line up according to his method. Qin Feng hadn't been in the South Flat Continent for long, so he didn't know much about the sects here. As if seeing his confused expression, Yuanqiu moved closer to his ear and whispered, "Little brother Qiao Feng, the person who spoke is Wan Qi Feng, a 6-star formation sect. I heard that he's already a rank 5 spirit formation master. Don't underestimate the Wan Chi Feng just because the Wan Chi Feng is a 6-star sect that specializes in formations. Their strength is close to that of a handful of 7-star sections. So Wan Chi Feng's status was so high, no wonder everyone listened to his arrangements. However, Qin Feng didn't ask about the few 7-star sects in the South Flat Continent because he didn't care about them. The reason why he came to the South Flat Continent was to find opportunities to break through quickly. Once his strength reached a certain level, he would kill his way back to the North Sand Continent. Hey! You two want to stand in front of us? Are you courting death? While Qin Feng was lost in his thoughts, an extremely arrogant shout came from behind him. Yu Wanqiu hurriedly pulled on his arm and used her eyes to tell him not to cause trouble. Qin Feng turned around and saw 3 cultivators standing behind him. Since he and Yu Wanqiu had arrived rather late, there was no one else behind these 3 cultivators. Unexpectedly, the 3 cultivators also wanted to cut in line. The man who shouted was at the peak of the True Spirit Realm, while the other 2 were at the 6th True Spirit Realm and 8th True Spirit Realm. These 3 completely suppressed Qin Feng and Yu Wanqiu in terms of cultivation, so it was no wonder they wanted to cut the line. Yo! Brother Fei, look! That girl is really pretty. That's not right. Why do I find this woman so familiar? Is she the #1 beauty of the Tianhu sect, Yu Wanqiu? You 2 guys can't cultivate fast enough, but your eyesight is better than the other. This woman is Yu Wanqiu. I've been in love with her for a long time. No matter where it was, a hero could not resist the charms of a beautiful woman. However, the 3 men in front of them were clearly not heroes, and they were unable to resist the temptation of Yu Wanqiu's beauty. When she realized that her appearance had caused trouble, Yu Wanqiu blamed herself. She even wondered if she should cover her face with a scarf. What do you want to do? Qin Feng's cold voice traveled into Yu Wanqiu's ears while she was thinking. The male cultivator called Brother Fei glared at him and roared at Qin Feng. A mere level 4 true spirit and is still standing here waiting for death? Hurry up and get lost for this daddy. Eh? Are you deaf? Did you not hear what Brother Fei said? The 2 lackeys were captivated by Yu Wanqiu's beauty and impatiently wanted to scare Qin Feng away so they could make Yu Wanqiu their plaything. The 3 of them were loose cultivators, so they had nothing to fear. At worst, they would never go to the area near the Tianhu sect again. The South Pingyou state was so big, so finding a person was like finding a needle in a haystack. Yu Wanqiu already understood the 3's intentions, and her clear eyes shot out a cold glint. However, before she could do anything, Qin Feng continued, "This young master is in a good mood today. If you don't want to die, hurry up and scram." His words stunned Brother Fei and the other 2, and they even suspected that there was something wrong with their ears. The quarrel attracted the attention of many people, but no one stood up to help or stop them. As a cultivator of the South Pingzhou state, the first rule of cultivation was to mind your own business. However, watching a show was the hobby of cultivators. When they saw that Qin Feng was only at level 4 true spirit, many people revealed disdainful and playful expressions. Haha. I didn't hear wrong, right? You're telling me to scram? Brother Fei glared and a ferocious aura surged from his body. This guy had probably been stuck at the peak stage of the true spirit realm for a long time without being able to break through. His aura was much stronger than a normal peak stage true spirit realm cultivator, and there was a hint of the aura of a void god realm cultivator. Under the pressure of this powerful aura, even Yu Wanqiu found it hard to breathe. However, Qin Feng's expression did not change as he suddenly slapped out. Bang! It was not a slap, but the sound of something heavy hitting something. Brother Fei screamed as he flew into the air and swayed like a kite with a broken string. A golden light flashed, and the sky exploded. Brother Fei's body bloomed like fireworks, and a peak stage true spirit realm expert died just like that. Hiss! Many people sucked in a breath of cold air. The cultivators with playful and disdainful expressions immediately retracted their expressions. They didn't even dare to look at Qin Feng's eyes. The 2 people with Brother Fei finally came to their senses and immediately ran. However, before they could run more than 100 meters, their bodies exploded. Oh my God! Wasn't that youth at level 4 True Spirit Realm? How could he kill a peak stage True Spirit Realm cultivator so easily? He doesn't look more than 40 years old, but he has such powerful skills. He's at least a disciple from a 6-star sect. I don't think he's a disciple from a big sect. Plus, his appearance is most likely due to a beautifying elixir. As for his cultivation, he must have used a top-notch concealment technique to hide it. The crowd discussed among themselves. Qin Feng acted as if he didn't hear anything and pulled the stunned Yuanqiu toward the front of the crowd. Originally, he didn't plan on cutting the queue. This kind of behavior was not recognized in China, but in the Divine Continent, where the strong preyed on the weak, Qin Feng was forced to do so. If he didn't show off his strength, there would always be trash like Brother Fei coming to provoke him. Most likely, the crowd had been frightened by Qin Feng's display of might. The crowd parted to form a golden path. After walking for more than 50 meters, Qin Feng stopped. There were some sect disciples in front of him. Although there were 3- and 4-star sects, Qin Feng had no intention of joining them. He could oppress those independent cultivators, but he didn't plan on going against the sections. If he cut in front of the 3-star and 4-star sects, it might cause many sects to unite and boycott him. At that time, if 3 or 4 Void God Realm cultivators jumped out, he would be dead meat. At this time, the 6-star and 5-star sects at the front of the line had already entered the teleportation array. They didn't even pay attention to the movements on Qin Feng's side. To them, it was as if they had a higher status and looked down on independent cultivator factions. Yuanqiu saw Yu Zhong and the others in the front of the group, and a ripple appeared in her limpid eyes. Qin Feng was observant, so he reached out and patted her shoulder. This simple action immediately calmed Yuanqiu's depressed mood. Compared to getting to know little brother Qiao Feng, being abandoned by a sect disciple is nothing, Yuanqiu muttered to herself. In fact, there was another important reason why Qin Feng didn't continue to cut in line. He was a rank 5 Spirit Array Master. Although he couldn't see what rank the teleportation array in front of him was, he could feel the energy fluctuations of the array and knew that it would last for at least the time it took for 3 incense sticks to burn before disappearing. Based on the current speed of entering, it should be his and Yuanqiu's turn in less than 2 incense sticks of time. Otherwise, Qin Feng would have to forcefully rush into the 5th palace with Yuanqiu even if he had to turn the world upside down against these sections. Just as he had predicted, it was his and Yuanqiu's turn in less than 2 incense sticks of time. Qin Feng had already noticed that this teleportation array didn't teleport in a specific direction, so he took the initiative to grab Yuanqiu's hand before entering. Little brother Qiao Feng. Yuanqiu was stunned for a moment. She felt that Qin Feng's subtle action was similar to the feeling between partners. Qin Feng knew that she had misunderstood his intentions, but he didn't explain. He leaped and jumped into the array with Yuanqiu. There was a sharp pain in his mind. When he opened his eyes again, the scene in front of him had changed greatly. It had changed from the boundless plains and mountains to a maze of mountain peaks. Because the mountain peaks were too high, it obstructed his line of sight. Qin Feng tried to use his divine sense to scan the area, but he discovered that there was a formation that blocked divine sense on the 5th palace. Moreover, this formation seemed to cover the entire 5th floor. Such a powerful formation shocked Qin Feng. "Senior brother! It's here! Another fat sheep has been sent over." Before the two of them could clearly observe the surrounding terrain, a burst of evil laughter came from not far away. Several sword lights pierced through the air, and after a few breaths, 6 figures rushed over on flying swords. Is this the 5th palace? I feel that the spirit chi is so dense. Where are the Luo Yun sect disciples? If you can hear me, quickly gather here. High Xian disciples, listen up. According to the sect master's request, we will stop at the 5th palace this time. You are not allowed to enter the 6th palace without permission. Soon after, another group of people arrived. They were the cultivators who had lined up at the same time as Qin Feng and Yuanqiu. However, Qin Feng discovered a small problem. Logically speaking, He had memorized the faces of the groups of people behind him, but the groups of cultivators in front of him were unfamiliar. This made him even more certain that the teleportation array was not a directional teleportation. Those groups of people had probably been teleported to other places. Soon, the newly arrived cultivators also realized the 6 men blocking their way. Some of them even recognized them. Eh? Aren't these the senior brothers of Heavenly Star sect? Nice to meet you! The old man standing in the middle of the 6 people blocking their way had an indifferent expression. He nodded at the middle-aged man who came to greet them and said indifferently, "You are the junior brothers of Qilin Mountain. You may leave." The people of Qilin Mountain were confused, but they could see that the 6 senior brothers of Heavenly Star sect had cold expressions and fierce auras. They realized that something was about to happen, so they immediately left. Chapter 1882. Secor Sect Disciple greets seniors from Heavenly Star Sect. The crowd was stunned for a moment. Someone walked towards the 6 people who were blocking the way. This disciple thought that he could pass after greeting them, but he was slapped by a Heavenly Star Sect disciple tens of meters away. "Don't try to get close to us. Your Secor Sect is just a 4-star sect. What right do you have to talk to Heavenly Star Sect?" The Secor Sect disciple was stunned. He didn't know why the other party was so angry. Secor Sect didn't have any conflicts with Heavenly Star Sect. At this moment, many smart people saw the truth. The reason why the Qilin Mountain disciples were able to leave safely was because the Qilin Mountain was the same as the Heavenly Star Sect, a rare 5-star sect in the South Flat Continent. However, this group of Heavenly Star Sect cultivators were clearly here to rob them, and they were the typical type of people who bullied the weak and feared the strong. "Elder Qinhe, can I bring my junior brothers and sisters over?" Another person walked out. It was a 5-star sect. Indeed, Qinhe nodded and didn't stop the group of 5. At this moment, everyone understood Heavenly Star Sect's intentions. Among the remaining 20 to 30 cultivators, there were no 5-star sect disciples. "I believe that everyone has understood. In that case, I won't waste any more words. Our Heavenly Star Sect is a 5-star sect, after all. We will not kill the innocent. As long as you obediently hand over your storage rings, you can all leave safely." The old man in the middle spoke again. The cultivator who left earlier called him Elder Qinhe. This elder's aura was as steady as the sea. Many people couldn't see through his cultivation, but Qin Feng could. This old man had already stepped into the Void Spirit Realm Level 3 and was about to enter the middle stage. The old man standing beside Qinhe was also at the Void Spirit Realm, but he was 1 level lower than Qinhe. He was at the Void Spirit Realm Level 2. There were 4 other people who were all at the peak stage of the True Spirit Realm. When Qin Feng saw through their cultivation, he immediately realized that they had prepared to rob him before entering the 13th palace. This was because Qin Feng had seen quite a few 5-star sects after entering the 13th palace. He had even killed cultivators from Yuan Tsang and God's Finger. Those 5-star sects were at most led by a Void God Realm Elder, and they didn't have many peak True Spirit Realm cultivators. Even so, Qin Feng wasn't afraid of these people. At the same time, he wouldn't help other cultivators. This was the South Flat Continent, the Graveyard of Heroes. A few cultivators had already handed over their storage rings. Resisting in front of 2 Void God Realm Ultimate Gods was equivalent to courting death. Although he was complaining in his heart after handing over the ring, this was the rule of the Divine Continent. Everything depended on one's fists. A peak True Spirit Heavenly Star disciple walked over to Qin Feng's side and coldly shouted, "What are you waiting for? Hurry up and hand over your storage ring. Otherwise, your storage ring will still fall into our hands after we kill you." Yu Wanqiu secretly pulled on Qin Feng's arm. When they met Brother Fei's group of 3 who cut the line, she wasn't too worried. After all, she had seen Qin Feng kill Void God Realm experts, so True Spirit cultivators couldn't threaten him at all. However, the other party had 2 Void God Realm experts on their side this time. Moreover, Yu Wanqiu could sense that their auras were extremely powerful. They were even more powerful than God One Finger's elder Shinmou. Shinmou was already at Void God Realm level 2, so one could imagine how terrifying the two elder Tianxing's strength was. At that moment, Yuanqiu didn't think that Qinfen could defeat Heavenly Star's group of 6. However, she discovered that her persuasion was ineffective. Qinfen still maintained his own way of doing things. "Hand over your storage ring, and I can spare your life." This was Qinfen's first sentence, but it was enough to shock everyone present. The cultivator who was about to rob him was dumbfounded. He suspected that there was something wrong with his ears. Yuanqiu helplessly covered her forehead. At that moment, she really wanted to pry open Qinfen's head to take a look. As for the cultivators who were teleported over, they all recognized Qinfen. This young cultivator had gone on a killing spree in the 4th palace not long ago, killing 3 late-stage true spirit cultivators in a row. Some people suddenly felt hope, thinking that Qinfen might be able to help them escape. However, these people quickly fell into an even deeper despair. Even if Qinfen could really defeat Heavenly Star's group of 6, he would still force them to hand over their storage rings in the end. This was the law of survival in the Divine Continent. It was a world where the strong preyed on the weak. "Damn it! Is there shit in your head? I'll cut it open for you." After the Heavenly Star disciple came back to his senses, he was instantly enraged. He waved his hand and summoned a golden flying sword. His eyes flickered with a playful smile, as if he could already see Qinfen's head being cut off by the sword. The smiling face was still there because the male cultivator's face had already frozen. He fell to the ground with a smile before he died. Blood gushed out from his body, causing the crowd to cry out in alarm. "Dead? That Heavenly Star cultivator is dead? It's not strange for that senior to die. After all, this young hero killed a peak true spirit cultivator in a second. I'm looking forward to seeing if he can defeat the 2 Heavenly Star elders." Killing a peak true spirit cultivator in a second, this young hero is too abnormal. Qinfen ignored the crowd's discussion. He didn't have time to care because 2 powerful divine senses had already locked onto him. It was the 2 Void God Realm elders from Heavenly Star. He quickly discovered something. Although the 5th palace had an array that could block divine senses, it seemed that the array was too old, and its effects had weakened. Therefore, it was still possible to search with divine senses within a small area. "How dare you, Ant? How dare you kill my Heavenly Star disciple? You're courting death." The Void God Realm level 2 cultivator struck out with his palm. There was a sword chi hidden in his palm. He thought that this attack would be able to kill Qinfen in a second, but he found out that Qinfen had actually dodged his attack. "Eh? Who are you? Why are you hiding your cultivation?" Qinpai was shocked. He began to suspect that Qinfen was also a Void God Realm cultivator. It was just a simple move, but it stirred up a storm in the hearts of the crowd. The 2 peak true spirit disciples from Heavenly Star, who originally wanted to attack, immediately took a step back. Even Elder Qinpai couldn't kill him, so they would only be sending themselves to their deaths if they went up. Chen He's eyes flashed with shock. With Qinfen's true spirit realm level 4 cultivation, he was in existence that was completely ignored. Who would have thought that this unremarkable brat would become the biggest threat to Heavenly Star? When he thought about the disciple that Qinfen had killed in a second and how Qinfen had easily dodged Qinpai's attack, Qin He felt uneasy. He suddenly said, "You can take your friend and leave." His words shocked the crowd. Everyone was looking forward to a huge battle, but they didn't expect Heavenly Star's head elder Qin He to let Qinfen go. This person had killed a genius disciple of Heavenly Star. Even Yuanqiu hadn't expected such an outcome. She was pleasantly surprised and quickly tried to pull Qinfeng away. However, Qinfeng stood there like a mountain and said indifferently, "I'll stay if you want me to stay and leave if you want me to. Who do you think I Qiaofeng am? Leave your storage rings and scram today, or die by my hands. P.S. Happy New Year!" Chapter 1883. Qin He was stunned. The group of cultivators was dumbfounded. Yuanqio wanted to pinch Qin Feng's waist hard to wake him up. The other party was ready to let them go, so why were you still trying to fight back? No one could understand Qin Feng's thoughts, and he was such a person. He would never suffer a loss. Even if he encountered an enemy he could not defeat, he would work hard to break through his realm. Once he was strong enough, he would immediately kill his way back to take revenge. Since Tianxing's group of 5 could not threaten him, Qin Feng could kill them on the spot. Senior, the Buddhist sect is willing to fight alongside you. Disciples of the 7 Seas, listen up. Fight against the enemy with Senior. The 13 palaces only open once every 10 years. We worked so hard to get a spot to enter, so why should we hand over the treasures we obtained? At worst, we'll just fight those Tianxing bastards. After a brief silence, a few groups of people stepped forward. When they saw this scene, Heavenly Star and the other 4 people's faces darkened. Yuanqio was a bit surprised. She really didn't expect these sect's disciples to choose to fight to the death. In fact, everyone hated and despised Heavenly Star's act of robbery. This kind of act of stealing the fruits of other people's labor should not be allowed in public. Yuanqio also had a belly full of anger, but because the other party was too strong, she did not show it. Now that everyone had stood up, she no longer cowered. Little brother Qiao Feng, I will die with you. Yuanqio pulled out the soft sword at her waist. Qin Feng's heart was filled with warmth. How many people in this world would be willing to die with you? However, Qin Feng did not plan to ask for help because the highest realm in the group was only at the peak of the true spirit realm. Most of the cultivators had just entered the true spirit realm. Even if these people helped, they would not be of much help and would instead become a burden to Qin Feng. Humph! You bunch of reckless ants. Since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. When Qin He came back to his senses, his expression was extremely cold. He hated Qin Feng very much. It was all because of this brat. However, before he could make a move, Qin Feng shouted, "Everyone retreat! I will kill these bastards alone." Everyone was speechless. They had seen pretentious people, but they had never seen someone as awesome as Qin Feng. Yuanqio anxiously said, "Brother Qiao Feng, the enemy is too strong. I'm afraid you can't deal with them alone." Qin Feng had already taken out the azure dragon cauldron. As the cauldron spun, it formed overlapping cauldron shadows that surrounded him. He held 4 banners in his hands. They looked like 4 array flags, which were confusing. "They're just a few ants. I don't care about them," Qin Feng roared. His words were so arrogant that the crowd was speechless. Tianxing's group of 5 had 3 peak true spirit cultivators and 2 nihility god realm elders. If a faction like this was considered an ant, then there wouldn't be any major factions in the South Flat State. But at this time, the 7-colored ghost face soul streamer had already fallen, trapping Tianxing's group of 5 in the formation. All of this happened too suddenly, leaving everyone confused. Even Tianxing's group of 5 didn't expect that Qin Feng would have this kind of magic weapon. They just thought that this kid was setting up a formation. A mid-stage true spirit cultivator dared to set up a formation in front of 2 nihility god realm masters. Qin He and Qin Pai had already thought of sarcastic words to say to Qin Feng, but they forcefully swallowed them. Qin He exclaimed, "This is one of the 8 holy items of ghost cultivators, the 7-colored ghost face soul streamer?" Qin Pai also came to his senses. "It's the 7-colored ghost face soul streamer without a doubt. Rumor has it that this magic weapon can form its own formation and can trap nihility god realm cultivators. It also hides a divine sense attack. No wonder that kid is so arrogant. He has such a magic weapon." Hearing that Qin Feng took out a holy item of ghost cultivators, everyone was shocked. Tianxing's 3 peak true spirit cultivators panicked and said things like, "I'm going to die," infuriating Qin He. "All of you shut up. Isn't it just a magic weapon called the 7-colored ghost face soul streamer? Look at how scared you are. This soul streamer is actually a formation. If everyone attacks together, we'll be able to break the streamer very quickly." At that time, I'll personally capture that kid and tear him into 1,000 pieces. Rumble. Before Chin-Hee could finish cursing, a loud explosion came from within the soul streamer. The commotion was so loud that everyone felt the ground beneath their feet violently shake. Someone cried out in shock. Look, where did that lightning come from? Damn! What kind of lightning is this? It's simply the lightning tribulation of a Nihility God Realm cultivator. My God, that's not lightning tribulation. It's Senior's lightning attack. The sky was instantly filled with black lightning, forming a turbulent sea of lightning that exploded within the soul streamer. Soon, everyone saw the situation clearly. The black lightning was coming from a strange-looking weapon in Qin Feng's hand. That weapon was not like a sword or a spear. It was definitely something that everyone had never seen before. The power of this weapon was incomparably ferocious, even to the point that it was unimaginable. Just which senior is this? Why haven't I heard of his name before? Instantly killing a peak true spirit cultivator and wiping out a group of Nihility God Realm cultivators. This kind of thing can only be done by a body condensation realm expert, but that senior's cultivation is only at true spirit realm 4. The shock that Qin Feng brought to everyone was too intense. Even Yu Wanqiu was dumbfounded. She hadn't known Qin Feng for long, but she was shocked by the strength he displayed time and time again. Half a month ago, Qin Feng was only at the Buddhist Light 6 changes, but now he was at true spirit realm 4. Moreover, he had killed 2 Nihility God Realm experts a few days ago. Now, he was even wiping out a group of peak true spirit cultivators and Nihility God Realm cultivators. These cultivators, who were considered above average in the South Flat Continent, were like ants to Qin Feng. After more than 10 waves of lightning bolts landed on the Soul Banner, Qin-Hee and the other 4 were blasted into smithereens. The thunder had yet to stop. Qin Feng felt extremely carefree. He had been badly struck by the black lightning at the Life Mountain half a month ago. Now, he could finally watch his enemies get struck by lightning. When he put away the ghost face soul streamer, the crowd had yet to recover from their shock. He took Qin-Hee and the other storage rings and left with Yu Wanqiu. Yu Wanqiu finally came back to her senses after flying a few thousand meters away. This time, she didn't suffer from amnesia. When she recalled the terrifying black lightning that filled the sky, she couldn't help but shiver. Little brother Qiao Feng, just who are you? Yu Wanqiu asked subconsciously. Big sister Wanqiu, I have some difficulties that I can't tell you. Anyway, you just have to believe that I won't harm you. Yu Wanqiu wasn't worried about this. She was just curious, but she didn't continue asking when she saw that Qin Feng wasn't willing to tell her. Yu Wanqiu was puzzled when she saw that there were many level 5 spirit herbs and spirit beasts on the way, but Qin Feng didn't have any intention of stopping. Little brother Qiao Feng, aren't we going to pick those spirit herbs? Chapter 1884. Qin Feng didn't say that he actually wanted to enter the 9th palace. Otherwise, Yu Wanqiu would have been shocked. Although the 13 palaces opened once every 10 years, the South Plateau continent had existed for tens of thousands of years. The palaces had opened thousands of times, but the number of cultivators who could enter the 9th palace could be counted on one hand. Although Yu Wanqiu felt that it was a pity for the level 5 spirit herbs along the way, since Qin Feng had made up his mind, she would do as he said. Yu Wanqiu didn't realize that she had unknowingly begun to regard Qin Feng as the leader. It took them another 3 days to find the entrance to the 6th palace. When Qin Feng found the array at the entrance, there weren't many people lining up like in the 4th palace, which made the two of them feel relieved. Little brother Qiao Feng, is this the entrance to the 6th palace? You really are a master of array formations. Yu Wanqiu watched in shock as Qin Feng threw out dozens of array flags and a wall of light appeared in the air. She couldn't accept how powerful Qin Feng was. He was an elixir king, a master of array formations, and a cultivation genius. There was no time to explain. Qin Feng suppressed his excitement and pulled Yu Wanqiu into the teleportation array. After a moment of dizziness, the scene in front of them changed from a labyrinth-like mountain range to a boundless basin landscape. The spirit chi concentration in the 6th palace was clearly higher than in the 5th palace, but the basin was also filled with mist and an array formation that blocked divine sense. At that moment, Qin Fen thought of a possibility. The entire 13 palaces probably had an array formation that blocked divine sense, but the effect of the array formation had disappeared or was not very obvious in the first 4 palaces. Qin Fen couldn't imagine how big the 13 palaces were. He didn't know how the almighty expert who had set up the array formation had done it. "Little brother Qiao Feng, have we reached the 6th palace?" Yu Wanqiu woke up after Qin Fen checked the surroundings. Qin Fen was relieved when he realized that there were no robbers on this floor. The higher the palace, the higher the realm of the cultivators who could enter it. Back in the 5th palace, Tian Xing and the others were at the peak of the true spirit realm and void spirit realm. If there were robbers on this floor, they would at least be at the middle or late stage of the void spirit realm, or even at the body condensation realm. Qin Fen could kill an early-stage Nihility God realm cultivator with his current cultivation base, but he wasn't confident that he could kill a middle-stage Nihility God realm cultivator. Even if he used the 100-mile sniper rifle, it would be difficult for him to kill a middle-stage Nihility God realm cultivator because a cultivator of that realm would have multiple clones, and it would be very easy for him to escape. After the two of them adjusted their emotions, they immediately left the place. They originally thought that there would be many level 6 spiritual herbs and spiritual beasts in the 6th floor of the palace. However, after walking around for a long time, they did not even see the shadow of a weed. "Brother Qiao Feng, did we teleport to the wrong place?" Yu Wanqiu was a bit disappointed. Qin Fen suspected that he had been teleported to the wrong place. It was said that there was a secret realm hidden in every level of the 13 palaces. Could it be that he had been teleported to the secret realm of the 5th palace? However, he immediately denied this conjecture. If he had really been teleported into the mystic realm, he should have seen even more treasures. While the two of them were lost, they vaguely saw a few silhouettes in the fog hundreds of meters away. Normally, Qin Fen would have avoided them in the opposite direction when he saw them. However, in their current situation, he could only brace himself and chase after them with Yu Wanqiu. "Senior Marshal Brother Zhong, someone is catching up. Who are you? What do you want?" There were 4 people moving forward in the fog. When Qin Fen and Yu Wanqiu approached, the crowd suddenly stopped. They could feel the ferocious aura emanating from their bodies rippling in the fog. Before Qin Fen could speak, Yu Wanqiu screamed when she sensed the other party's aura. "Yu Zhong? It's you guys?" A black silhouette flew out of the fog and landed less than 5 meters away from Qin Fen and Yu Wanqiu. Now, both of them could clearly see that the 4 people were the disciples of the Sky Lake sect. Upon seeing these people, Yu Wanqiu could not help but recall the scene of them abandoning her a few days ago. Her heart immediately turned cold. At the same time, she realized that the Sky Lake sect's disciples were missing 2 people this time. They had probably been killed along the way. However, Yu Wanqiu could not be bothered to ask too much. She no longer considered herself a disciple of the Sky Lake sect. "Sister Wanqiu! Junior Sister Wanqiu, you're fine?" When they saw Yu Wanqiu, they were shocked. They quickly noticed Qin Fen standing next to her. When Yu Zhong saw Qin Fen, a cold look flashed in his eyes. He realized that this guy was most likely Yu Wanqiu's lover. The two of them had worked together to kill Yuan Sang's Jisher, which was why had Elder Yuan Sang wanted to kill Yu Wanqiu. After examining Qin Fen and discovering that he was only in the true spirit realm, Yu Zhong immediately relaxed. He revealed a joyful expression and walked in front of Yu Wanqiu. "Junior Sister Wanqiu, it's great that you're fine. Don't blame your senior brother. You should know what happened earlier. Your senior brother was powerless." Yu Wanqiu coldly snorted in her heart. After what happened earlier, she finally saw Yu Zhong's true colors. She coldly said, "Yu Zhong, I plan on withdrawing from the Sky Lake sect. In the future, we'll be strangers." Yu Zhong's expression darkened and his tone became cold. "Junior Sister Wanqiu, what do you mean? Are you blaming me for my previous decision? Are you happy that I caused everyone to die at Elder Yuan Sung's hands to save you?" Moreover, aren't you fine now? Yu Wanqiu felt disgusted by Yu Zhong. If Qin Fen hadn't appeared in time, how could she still be alive? Perhaps she would still be alive, but she would have definitely become a plaything for Nirvana and the others. That kind of life would be better than death. You don't need to say any more. Little brother Qiao Feng, let's go. Yu Wanqiu didn't want to waste her breath with him. She didn't expect Yu Zhong to step forward and block the two of them. What do you want? Yu Wanqiu was enraged and coldly glared at him with her beautiful eyes. There was no trace of a smile on Yu Zhong's face. He was so cold that he was about to freeze. It seemed like he planned on completely shedding all pretense of cordiality. What do I want? You bitch, in order to survive, you gave your body to Yuan Sang and the others to play with. You've really lost the face of our Sky Lake sect. Since you don't know how to behave yourself, then you should serve the four of us. We can't let all of our benefits go to outsiders, right? Yu Wanqiu was stunned and stared at Yu Zhong in disbelief. She clearly didn't expect him to say such beastly words. What nonsense are you talking about? When did I mess around with Nirvana and those bastards? Heh! Do you think I'm stupid? If you didn't sell your body, why would Nirvana and those old guys let you go? Don't tell me it was that wild man beside you who appeared in time to save your life. He's only at True Spirit Realm 4. Do you think he could kill Nirvana, who was at Void God Realm Level 1? You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.